All right, what's up, guys? So Imaru has uploaded the overall her talking on her situation with mizkif. And yeah, I have seen some clips and some stuff where they're where it's like she's talking about him and stuff, but I've seen some clips from him and I'm like, fam, that's I wanted to just kind of talk on that real quick because I don't know, she'll talk on it in her it's kind of funny how like she got like a gang of them in the background, but anyways, but no, he was talking about how like he or she threw a plushie at him, and that was like I guess like her side of the abuse and things. And I like that's the thing, don't ever downplay any form of abuse. But my thing is this, like I done heard some crazy wild stories before. Like I grew up watching a lot of different movies where it talks on stuff like that, whether it's fictional or based on a true story. And one thing that that I guess like just all the different times like where I'm hearing stuff about that, hearing that, it's like, oh, like you count that as abuse where she's throwing a plushie at you. I'm like, fam, it could have been worse. I'm like, what about the one? I think it was the movie. They've been showing that movie a lot recently, but it was this movie with, I think it was based on a true story too. But it was this movie starring, it was like she's passed away, sadly, but it was this actress named Farrah Fawcett. And it was like, I think it was like The Burning Bed or something like that. Yeah, went and lit her husband on fire for like, and it was like, yeah, she was being abused and things, but yeah, it was like she lit him on fire, and I'm like, dang, that's kind of aggressive, like I just, but I mean, yeah, like you sit down, you watch that movie, it's like, but it's like, fam, it could have been on some stuff like that. So it's like, but you guys sit down and think about it. What did you do, I guess, to get her to that point? I'm not trying to justify, yeah, okay, she shouldn't have threw a plushie at you, but I'm like, fam, if I have a toss up between getting a plushie thrown at me or being tied to a bed, set on fire and things, yeah, it's one of those things. I'm like, I think he shouldn't have mentioned that. I think there should have been, I don't know, like I feel like people will hear what I'm saying and like argue or feel a certain way. I'm not saying that, if he has been through some stuff, then it's like, okay, I just think that you need to talk about the stuff that's, I don't know, like it's feel kind of insensitive, but the stuff that actually matters. It's like she threw a plushie at you. What was it? One of those like I like, because I know them eye things feel like marbles, but I'm like, I'm looking, if it's any of these plushies that we're seeing in the background, I'm like, fam, if you, and my thing is this, right? Let's say switch the roles around. All right, you throw a plushie at her, she calls the cops on you, and now you're facing jail time for it. How would that make you feel? So that's what I'm saying. It's things like that where it's like it shouldn't even been talked about. Like I guess like if I don't know, somebody asked me and was all like, oh, how did she throw a plushie at you? I'm like, oh yeah, like yeah, she did, but I'm like, why is that being discussed or talked about? I'm not trying to come off as an Imaru fan or anything, but I'm just saying it's one of those things where I'm like, man, come on now. So I just think yeah, it's you could have left that part out. But there are some other things that he said too where I was like, yeah, Miss Kiff, I'm like, I think it's best if you just kind of, take a break or something. But anyways, now let's go ahead get into this video. Yeah, make sure if you guys haven't though, go subscribe to Imaru. And with that being said, let's get into this video.
So, I mean, you guys can probably tell, but today's not gonna be a normal stream. Not gonna, watch videos or play games or anything today. I kind of just have a bunch of stuff that I wanted to talk about, and then I'm probably just gonna go offline after. But yeah,
That's another thing too, where it's like he mentions that, and then the stuff that she accused him of. Because I did see the headline where she accused him of all these different things. She's gonna talk about it, but I'm like, and your response is that she threw a plushie at me. That's why I'm like, I just, yeah, it's like take a break, bro.
I mean, you guys know, I've been streaming for 10 years. Last week was kind of the first time that I ever really spoke about a topic or something that happened to me. And honestly, I'm really glad that I did, and I'm proud that I did. And I feel like I have to see it to its conclusion, if that makes sense. Not just for myself, but in a way, I kind of feel like a lot of people are involved, because it doesn't just affect me. So that's why. Sorry about my voice. I'm very, very nervous in case you can't tell. But I knew that this stream had to be done
It's
today.
messed up though, where it's like I'm sorry for pausing and things, but it's messed up though that it's like it's stuff like this where it's like they feel scared to talk about it, and that's why I'm like, hey, I'm like this. If you're watching this video and there's stuff that you need to talk about it. You know, whether it's publicly or privately, whatever the case may be. I'm like, but talk about that stuff. Nobody deserves that have that type, especially stuff like this. They don't deserve to have that bottled up.
So yeah, pretty much. Yeah, so I guess might as well get started. Not, stall too much or anything. I know there's a lot of people here who don't normally watch, and if you're wondering, yes, I do normally run 20-minute intros. And yes, my community at least claims that they like it. I think that they like it. I like playing songs for you guys, but anyway, yeah, anyway. We don't like it? Okay, well, whatever. Anyway, I'm probably gonna stop reading chat now as well, but I mean, you guys are free to say whatever you want, obviously. So yeah, like I said before, it's been a pretty crazy week, and a lot of things have happened since the last time that I streamed in relation to what I talked about last week, the whole TwitchCon incident.
That's crazy. It's like you go from dealing with that, and then it's like the next week you deal with this. Like, if she is taking a break from content creating, it is needed. You know, the thing is that she'll come back, she'll still have like the same amount of love and support she had before. If not, she'll probably have like 10 times as much as she had before. So yeah, but it's like, that's just crazy though. It's like you just go from like both moments and stuff where it's like you're dealing with that, trying to handle that situation because Twitch ain't trying to handle it and things, and now it's like you gotta handle this situation. So
it's happened that kind of pushed me to talk about a lot of things that I want to talk about today. So as you can see, I wrote out my notes, and not only that, I have even more notes.
Dang.
So yeah, if it seems like I'm like reading a script or something, it's because I wrote super detailed notes because I wanted to make sure I didn't miss anything. So yeah. Okay. So, I think everyone knows about last week, the stuff that happened at TwitchCon. I was assaulted, and the guy was able to leave the venue, basically.
That's crazy.
Okay, so like intro, first thing that I want to talk about.
That's insane, because it's like it's just, my thing is this. Let's say if I'm having a house party, right? I'm having a house party and somebody comes up to me and they're like, hey, that guy just, tried to kiss me or do whatever and stuff. I'm going to approach him about it. I'm like, hey, what you doing? And it's like, what? This ain't that type of party and stuff. And if he's catching that attitude with me, then it's like, I'm probably not allowed to say what I would do, on video and all that stuff. But let's just say that he ain't going to do that no more, So, but it's like, the thing is this, the point that I'm trying to make is that if I'm hanging out with somebody, or if whatever the case may be, it's like, my thing is this. In a way, I feel like that I have to protect those that are around me. Like, I just recently on a trip with my family in Vegas, and I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm having fun and all that stuff, but there are crazy people out here and things, and I'm not trying to have it where it's like, I'm dealing with them, my family's dealing with them, whatever the case may be, but it's like, I have to protect my family. When I'm hanging out with friends, I'm like, I have to protect my friends. And so yeah, it's like, it's one of those things where it's just, that's just stuff that you have to do. And I just feel like, I feel like I ain't really get to elaborate too much on my feelings towards Twitch, but yeah, it's like Twitch, it's one of those things where it's like if you guys are not going to, I guess, have the proper protection at those types of events, it's probably just best to just remain like a internet business and stuff. Keep all that stuff on the internet. Have like do like a come out with a video game or something, and it's like PlayStation Home, and have like some stuff going on there. At least then it's like people don't have to be worried about getting assaulted. Yeah, it'd have to worry maybe some crazy messages, but it's like you could easily block somebody, some stuff like that. But overall, yeah, it's like if you ain't trying to protect people, then it's like don't hold events like that, because I'm like eventually it's going to get worse. So then it's going to be a situation where people are really going to be looking at you, because that's the thing where it's like, not to bring that up, but at the same time, it's like worst case scenario, let's say like he had did something to her or somebody else that was at that event, to where it's like it could have been like life changing and things. So that's what I'm saying. I'm like, people don't be thinking about that type of stuff, and they're like, oh, I just want to hold this event because it's like, oh, we do this all the time. And I'm like, yeah, next year, I'm like, if there is a TwitchCon event, I don't know if they'll skip out on it or what, but yeah, if there is, you need to have it where it's like either we bring in our own security, or you need to have better security at those places, because yeah, it's like ain't nobody trying to deal with no stuff like that. So
I did see the Twitch tweet that I believe went out yesterday. I was literally in a Discord call with my friends, and they were like, "Did you see that Twitch apologized to you?" And I was like, "Wait, what?" So yeah, basically what I'm trying to say is they put out that tweet. I was never apologized to privately. They put that out without like consulting me or anything. I didn't know that they were gonna do that, so that was yeah.
That's crazy.
I mean, I'm glad that, they're trying to, like, take some level of accountability, but there's a lot of things that they didn't mention in the tweet that I feel like should have been mentioned. But anyway, more stuff's been happening behind the scenes. So, I want to say that last week, everything I said on my stream was accurate, obviously, except for one thing. I was wrong about one thing. I was going over the tweet that Twitch initially put out, where they're like, oh yeah, this thing happened to a high-profile creator, police were on site, we're cooperating with law enforcement investigations. What I was wrong about was, they were not cooperating with law enforcement investigations. Wow. I found that out on Monday when I got a phone call from the San Diego police, and they were talking to me, and they basically said, hey, we can't really do anything right now because they apparently know the name of the guy, but they're not giving it to us until a warrant goes through, which, if you know anything about that stuff, it usually takes a while. Even if it's expedited, which it was being expedited for me, but it still takes a lot of time. And they're like, yeah, they're refusing to give us the name, which, as far as I'm aware, is like a very common company thing, where they'll be, they don't want to give out names of potential people involved in crimes, because then like that person could maybe like sue them for giving their name to police. I don't know, something like that. That's what my lawyer.
Oh, okay. Like, here's the thing: if that is the case, then I'm like, okay. But at the same time, I'm like, okay, what's worse? This guy coming back, and that's the thing. That's what I would be more so afraid of. It's like, okay, we don't give out a name. This guy comes back, does the same thing over and over again. All these different streamers, or he just finds different ways to assault them. I'm not trying to have that. So yeah, I'm like, it's one of those things where I'm like, I'm willing to take that risk at the lawsuit. I just got to have it where, and yeah, I just guess with me, it's like I'm mentally old fashioned. I'm like, people like me don't really care about lawsuits and stuff like that. Like, in a way we do, but at the same time, when it comes down to people in my circle being hurt or assaulted or whatever you want to call it and things, yeah, I don't care about no lawsuits. I'm like, yeah, if they'd be off in the courtroom, they were like, hey, did you do this, this, and this? I'm like, Yeah, I did. I'm like, you guys forgot something though. I also did that too. Yeah, I like, yeah, we people like me don't care. So I just think that Twitch, it's like I don't know. Maybe if it happened, you guys sit down and think about it. It's like I know there's probably some executives and people that work for Twitch where you got kids of your own. How'd that make you feel if that was your kid? Where it's like I just feel like that's how a lot of times people they don't want to put themselves in that situation, and then that's why they're like, oh well, we can't do this, we can't do that, and it's like I guarantee and I promise you, I am willing to bet money if it was one of like, let's say it's the Twitch CEO. Let's say if it was his kid that got assaulted. Oh yeah, it's like yeah, this is the person. This is what they look like. This is their name. 30 no not even though 30-day ban like how they did this guy. They were like lifetime ban. They would have made that, they would have made sure of it that that guy got in some trouble. But anyways,
Said. But basically, they were Twitch was trying to make sure that the guy that assaulted me didn't sue them, which meant that the police were not able to work on the case right away. So yeah, I got a call about that on, I believe it was Monday, from the San Diego police. They were like, yeah, we're working on the warrant, but like right now, that's like all we can really do. But like we're trying our best. Just like want to let you know, we're gonna keep in the loop and everything. I was like, okay. I was very frustrated because I was like, damn, like I didn't know that on Saturday. I would have said that if I knew. And then I believe it was the next day. There was someone who, I don't know if they were a viewer or if they were just someone who like knew of the situation from social media. They contacted my manager, and they basically told her that at their place of work, someone came into their work who matched the description of the guy, and this person was saying like, oh, I'm, traveling to Texas, and I caused like quite a stir at a TwitchCon, and this person like, reached out to my manager, reached out to police, San Diego police interviewed them. But basically what I'm trying to say is because all this stuff was delayed, this guy was able to get really far away from San Diego, allegedly. And this whole time, my manager was like, basically like begging Twitch, like, dude, like, please give us his name. Like, we don't know who this person is. Like, for all we know, he like lives around where Emmy and her roommates live. Like, I can't like help her if like I don't know who this person is, and they were refusing to do it.
that's crazy.
But after that tip from the person who said that the guy came into their workplace and was talking to him, my manager demanded the info from Twitch. So they did end up giving it to police, but not my manager, as far as I know. She still doesn't. Yeah. So the investigation's still going on, but it's like been a huge mess because of all of the delays and like refusal to work with the police. And yeah, it's ongoing. I can't like say too much about it. Like all this that I'm saying, obviously I like ran by my lawyer and stuff. And I do want you guys to know that Melissa has been making sure that, me and my roommates, who are obviously other pretty well-known girl streamers, that we have been safe here, paying for like security stuff, making sure we're protected. Again, my manager's been taking care of that all on her own. Twitch did not offer anything like that.
That just really shows you where it's like, it's crazy how people can have that much like love for you. They don't share no blood, none of that stuff. And yeah, they're like talking on her manager. And it's like Twitch, on the other hand, it's like if you're not, that's just how a lot of different places are. It's like if you're not a bigger creator, I guess, like in their sense of a bigger creator, like you're not somebody that I guess like I don't know, like I because I'm trying to like think of content creators names and stuff, but it's like if you're not those, like if you're not a big enough content creator, Twitch isn't gonna pretty much care. But I'm like, I say stuff like that like with YouTube on their like some of their business, and it's like that with TikTok, it's like that with Instagram, Twitter. It doesn't matter. It's like you have to be like one of those creators where it's like you're on that same level as like Mr. Beast or something, and then maybe but I guess like I think it just has to be that too. You have to be bigger than the platform, but if you ain't bigger than the platform, then yeah, they're gonna be like, oh well, we can't do anything. But yeah, let's say if that had been like Mr. Beast that was assaulted or something, Twitch would have been like, oh yeah, we plan on deploying out this Twitch SWAT team and stuff. Oh, we got like these Twitch helicopters. Like, yeah, they would have caught that guy and handed him over to police like within that same night. But because it's somebody like Immaroon, it's like she's not really as big as the platform. Then yeah, they're gonna just be like, oh well, best we could do is pat you on the back and say like get well soon. And it's like, yeah, that's why I'm like, Twitch, if you're wondering why, if you guys are going through the crap that you're going through where it's like people are debating whether or not they want to continue streaming on Twitch, it's just because of how you handled this. It's like people ain't trying to have it where it's like I feel unsafe, but it just seems like this. It seems like it's been like that with Twitch for the longest. Though it's just, to me, I just think that with Twitch, it's like you guys got to work on how you go about your guys' platform events and all that stuff. So, anyways,
And yeah, that's where it is right now, pretty much. I can't say like too much about what me and my lawyer are doing, but my hope is really that there's some kind of like public resolutions that people who like have seen this and like know about everything that's happened can feel better about it. Because like I said, I don't feel like it's just about me. Like it could have been anyone that it happened to, like a small streamer who's not as lucky to have the resources or like the reach that I have. So it's very scary.
yeah, if it had been like a small streamer and stuff, yeah, it probably would have it wouldn't have been as big as this situation is. But I think because like Imaru, she is a big creator. Yeah, and I just think, yeah, it's like if anybody smaller, yeah, it probably would have got downplayed. Twitch would have been like, oh, best we could do is, yeah, it's kind of like a package thing, like there's standard, premium, and then like extra. So yeah, for a small creator, it's like they probably would have just been like, oh well, we do know who the person is and we did ban them from the platform. That's the most that they would have did. But there's like, as far as like police and all that stuff, yeah, we can't do it. It ain't gonna, honestly, it's not going to surprise me if we look up one day and Twitch done seen its course when it comes to content creators and all that stuff. But no, it wouldn't surprise me if there's like a documentary that comes out about Twitch and it's just about all the shady activities that do be going on Twitch. Because yeah, I'm like, to me, I just felt like that how this situation was being handled. I'm like, fam, like, so because I was in Vegas when all this stuff was going on, so I'm like, okay, is the guy gonna get caught? Like, what is the like? And then yeah, it's like, oh yeah, we banned them on Twitch for 30 days. That's all. I'm like, yeah, Twitch, I'm like, I kind of lost hope for them. I'm like, that to me, I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. I'm like, this guy physically, like, I assaulted her. It ain't like, no, oh, he virtually, no, he physically, like, he was in this so you guys gotta like do more about that. Banning him on Twitch for 30 days, acting like he can't just create another email and go right back on the platform. That's why it's like stuff like that I just find silly. I'm like, banning him for 30 days, what is that gonna do? So anyways.
And yeah, just very, very frustrating. And yeah, I don't know where that's gonna go. I'm sure that, they're probably, I would speculate, not very happy with me for talking about all this, but I feel like it's not fair to keep it hidden from all the people who literally had to witness it because of Twitter and Reddit and all these things. I mean, I'm not complaining about that, obviously. You guys know I was super grateful that the guy posted it, got, spread around so that I didn't have to figure out how to talk about it myself. But yeah, I'm just, it's a lot. It's been really heavy this week, but obviously I've been getting a lot of support from my friends and other streamers, and obviously my manager, the people that I work with, my employees and such. But yeah, I don't want to just let this be a thing that I think that they're hoping it just blows over and gets like swept under the rug. I'm not gonna, go live every stream and complain about it, like, oh, I got done dirty. I'm not gonna do that, but I'm gonna try to the best of my ability, keep you guys updated until there's like some kind of resolution, so. Yeah, pretty heavy, intense stuff. Yeah, it's been, sorry, I'm just looping myself now. But yeah, I would hate if like this kind of just went away and people were like, oh, what happened? I don't know. Am I gonna go to TwitchCon next year and, like if something happens to me, it's gonna,
Yeah, it'd probably be a while. If I had dealt with some stuff like that or something that's equally damaging, yeah, I think it'd definitely be a situation where I'm like, I wouldn't go back to TwitchCon the next year and stuff. I'm like, I wouldn't even know whether I'll be streaming on Twitch or not, just because of that, like how the lack of security and then just it seemed like the lack of caring from Twitch. Yeah, it'd definitely be a situation where I'm like, bump all that. Like if I'm gonna be going to TwitchCon or not, I'm like, am I gonna still be streaming on Twitch? Because yeah, I feel like a lot more should have been done. And yeah, if Twitch, like if they are working behind the scenes and they're like trying to do stuff properly and right, then okay, cool. But if not, then yeah, it's one of those things where, like I said, something like this is gonna happen. It's gonna be 10 times worse, and it's gonna put Twitch in the corner, and they're gonna be like, okay, what do you guys have to say for yourself? This content creator, it could be a situation where it's like a content creator getting assaulted, like Imaru. It could be a situation where like attempted murder, or if not full like flat out murder. And it's like I'm not trying to have it because this is like the thing is this. Throughout the years of me being a content creator, I've had it where people have threatened my life. I've had it where people have, they got this like pure hatred and all this stuff. And, the thing is this, I wouldn't want to go to one of these types of events because that actually did happen before with a YouTuber. I think she was a singer or stuff like that. But anyways, I'm not trying to have it where I go to one of these events. Next thing you know, I'm like laid down on the floor fighting for my life and stuff because like, oh, well, we're trying to save money and that's why we only had like 3-4 security guards or something like that. And it's like, all right, cool. I'm like, while you guys are saving money, it's like my family is gonna be spending money on either hospital bills or funeral arrangements. So it's like, what do you think is more, I guess, like it's worth the money and stuff, extra security or my family planning my funeral? Like that, yeah, it's stuff like that you guys sit down and think about. I try not to say dark things like that, but I'm like, fam, that's literally life. Like that YouTuber from like years ago, the last thing I'm pretty sure she was expecting was for her to go outside and get shot and killed by some crazy fan. So it's like it's things like that where I'm like, you need to be worried about if you're going to be throwing some event like that, you can't have it where it's like, oh, creators, they show up, they're all happy, they're gonna see their fans and friends and all that stuff, leave up out of there traumatized, confused on why Twitch ain't helping. And it's like, yeah, it's things where it's like, if you guys really want to have it where it's like, okay, yeah, this is the event of the year, like people are safe, protected and all that stuff, you gotta do better by the creators. So but yeah, if not, then don't be surprised if you look up one year and it's like, oh, we had it where there was hundreds of people going to like less than 100 people. It's only an event for like small creators now because big creators are like, no, we ain't gonna fool around with this event no more. If we're not gonna get protected, it's like, yeah, what reason do I have to go here and stuff? So anyway,
they're gonna try to hide it basically. Yeah, so there's that. Give me a second. I have some more stuff I want to talk about, but I'm trying to not rush myself because I'm trying my best to like, stay composed to the best of my ability, so that I can get to the information across accurately. Yeah, thank you guys. Thank you for, support and stuff. Like, honestly, it's been shocking to me, because, I don't know. I guess, like, whenever things happen, I always just kind of expect the bare minimum outcome, if that makes sense. So, yeah, I've just been very, very thankful and very grateful, and I hope that whatever comes out of this makes other people feel better. But regardless, like I said, I'm done with going to TwitchCon. Probably done entirely with convention streams. I feel like it's just time, and I think that's probably true for a lot of streamers. The climate has, really changed. I've been on Twitch for 10 years, like, I keep fucking repeating myself recently. And yeah, it's changed a lot, gone pretty big. And I think that's just, the reality that you have to accept. But, maybe it's not a bad thing, because, can go back to rotting playing games in your room. It's not so bad, right? Retirement? No. Not retirement. Definitely not. Because I'm the kind of person, I'll never give up. You're not gonna make me give up. So, yeah.
That's messed up though, where it's like you gotta limit yourself. Like you want to go and do these events, like you want to because and I imagine like there are gonna be friends where they are like, hey, you want to go to this event. And it's like it's just that like being traumatized, where it's like you like just because of the like past situations, it's like you suffering from just that like just remembering and things. And yeah, I just think that that's messed up. It's like I think that it's like nobody should limit themselves. But at the same time, it's like I get it. Like, it's like I like there's because it was just a friend of mine's that was texting me this morning saying that they want to do like IRL streams and stuff with me. And I'm like, man, like I would like that, but at the same time, we live in a day and age where people will track down your location. They're like, oh, I see that you're here. Next thing you know, it's like I'm either, yeah, being assaulted or somebody's trying to take my life, whatever the case may be. And I'm like, yeah, I would like to do stuff like that. I would like to go, but it's like, I feel like that, if you have it where there's people that are not even safe in the comfort of their own home, then it's like, then I'm, putting, I guess, more of a risk on my life, by going out and about and stream. So yeah, that's why it's just certain things where I think that, like it's messed up, but at the same time, it's like, yeah, no, I think if that's probably the safest thing that you can do is, just like, yeah, I mean, like, you don't have to, I guess, like, limit yourself, like, oh, you could never, like, go outside your room and stream or record. Like, yeah, it's like hang out with friends like privately and stuff. But yeah, but at the same time, it's just even then, it's like you don't really know what's lurking around the corner, especially if you are doing an IRL stream. So that's why like it's just certain things, or it's like I guess like just advice to a content creator that's starting off, and it's like, oh, should I do these types of, yeah, I guess it might be a little bit easier for you like when starting off, but once it gets to that point where you're getting big and people are recognizing you and all this other, it's probably for the best that yeah, you have some sort of security there with you and stuff. Because it wasn't no different than the one situation where the I think it was like, wasn't Imaru a part of that with Senna, and then it was that dude walked up and was like chasing them around. I think they were like at a pier or a dock or something like that. And they had to like run into a convenience store and things. But yeah, it's like it's things like that where it's like that's what I'm like, I see situations like that and I'm like, I ain't trying to have it where people are stream sniping and being weird like that and stuff. So no, it's like I get it, but at the same and it's like, but at the same time, it is messed up that you got to limit yourself. But anyways,
Oh. Fortunately, I'm not done yet. Like I said. But just give me a bit. Was worried you were gonna quit? No. And I don't think I'm gonna go to any other platforms because
I know, because people, they were saying that they was like, oh, she'll be a lot safer on Kick, and I'm like, I don't know too much about Kick, but I'm like, fam, it's one of those things where it's just I don't know, like I've seen Kick and it's, I mean, I guess it's one of those platforms where I just you would have to, I think, just see stuff for yourself, because I feel like Kick, it's one of those platforms where I'm like, I don't know. I think if she were to go to any other platform, it definitely would be YouTube, but I mean, at the end of the day, like, if she wanted to do that, she can. But yeah, but it's like she wants to stay on Twitch. Like, yeah, that's where a lot of people know her at and stuff. And there might be people that are on Twitch and they don't really go on YouTube like that and stuff, where it's like, or they just strictly watch her for her, but they might not like YouTube's layout, whatever the case may be. So, I mean, like, at the end of the day, whatever she want to do, yeah, stream on Twitch, go to YouTube. Kick, on the other hand, it's no disrespect to Kick, but I'm like, I don't know. I wouldn't, I don't see Imaru going over to Kick, but anyways.
I mean, first of all, where would I go? And second of all, I really think that, this is something that was just, I mean, this is just me, being optimistic, but I feel like it was just a case of, like, we didn't realize that these things could happen, and we obviously don't want them to happen, and, like, things will be better. And I mean, I'm not gonna leave you guys because of, something that someone else did. I mean, yeah, there's, like, other places that, I upload content, but Twitch is, like, really my home. That's why, through all of this, I feel like most people, I mean, I did make a tweet, but, like, it was probably like 10% of what I needed to say. A lot of people make a tweet, make a YouTube video. That's why I've chosen to do all of this live and, like, raw, because it's just what I'm most comfortable with and what I've always done. So yeah. Oh, sorry, my, like, emotional voice is so ugly. Yeah.
So I know they were talking on that too, where it's like you look at her chat, and it's like people being supportive. And I think it was like when mizkif, when he started up his stream, they were just being disrespectful, and I'm like, you guys are the problem. Like, I don't think people realize that or understand that. And people, they could say I'm a simp and all this other stuff, and I'm like, no, it's just I was just raised around women to where it's like, oh, I'm like, so it's like, you learn to have a respect for them and things. Like, it's something where I'm like, I just find it confusing. There's men out there where they think that it's okay to be disrespectful and all this other stuff. And I'm like, yeah, disrespect the person if they disrespecting you, but a girl, they ain't did nothing to you. That's why I'm like, them fans that was in mizkif's stream being disrespectful to Imaru, what has she ever done to you? Oh, she didn't respond to your message. Girl got like thousands of people watching her stream. How is she supposed to respond to one message? So it's like, that's what I'm like, oh, she did it before. I'm like, okay, that was before, and it's not going to be a reoccurring thing, or it's like, oh, she didn't thank me after I gifted 100 bits or a sub. And I'm like, okay, I'm like, if it was dependent on the stream, it's one of those things. It's just, you guys can say whatever you want to say. I'm like, I don't know her like that. I'm not a simp. I'm not whatever you want to paint me out to be. But at the same time, it's like, I do recognize that she is a person with emotions and feelings, just like how anybody else in this world got emotions and feelings and stuff. There ain't no reason to be disrespectful towards her. So that's why I'm like, even with mizkif, I'm like, I'm not going to be disrespectful. But I mean, there are things that he said and did where it's all like, yeah, it's like, fam, it's just disappointing. You in your position shouldn't be doing no stuff like that. But yeah, it's just crazy to me when people they do that, and it's like, fam, you done watch one too many of them Andrew Tate, Myron Gain videos and stuff, and it's like, yeah, bro, you need to stop it and go watch somebody that's a little bit more, especially at a young age. It's like, nobody should be, and I guarantee and I promise you, some teenagers that's saying stuff like that, and it's like, fam, you don't know absolutely nothing about life yet. You're trying to talk on people's life, and that's all. I'm like, yeah, it's maybe I've gotten to that age now where it's like, you kind of downplay what a young kid is going through or whatever, or what they went through. But it's like, yeah, when you're going out on streams saying disrespectful stuff about people, of course I'm going down, even if you are an adult. And it's like, no, I'm gonna downplay play that stuff. I'm like, you ain't been through a whole lot to where you could be talking like that. So, and if you have, then yeah, obviously you ain't learned nothing from it. But anyways,
I don't know. It's just crazy. I just never thought things like this would happen, or I'd ever be doing a stream like this. It just feels very strange because it's just very out of my element. I've never really, like, for the most part, commented on drama or like self-inserted in situations, but I guess in this situation I'm kind of like stuck in the middle of it against my will. So it's like if I don't do it, who else is gonna do it? I'm just gonna take a second. Sorry, I've said that like 4 times, but this is it's a lot. I hate drama streams. Me too, man. Bro, like, I could have come home. I could have.
yeah, it's hard. I'm like, I know like times where I've gone through stuff. And that's the thing, like that's with me. I don't really like to go out and talk about stuff. Like if I'm going through things, I'm like, I just don't. I keep it to myself, or I just try to like talk to people off stream or off video, because like I didn't had it where people like done use stuff against me. I'm like, no, there was a time where I talked about, it was a friend of mine's passing, and people were like trying to criticize me on how I was dealing with it and stuff. And I like, yeah, that's why it's just certain things. I'm like, nah, it's like from that, families, celebrities stuff. I'm like, God, I kind of just keep that stuff to myself, because no, yeah, it's like you got it where there's people out there that they'll try to use it against you, or it's like, or even if not that, it's like it's just overall a difficult thing to talk about, you know. And so yeah, I'm like, I ain't been through some stuff where I'm like, nah, I'm gonna go ahead and keep this to myself, you know. Okay, I feel like it's like that for a lot of people, you know. It's like you go through some stuff, and it's like however you want to deal with it. I feel like you have a valid reason, whether you want to talk about it on stream or if you want to talk about it behind closed doors. It's like you got a valid reason to do so, even if it's a reason that you're downplaying and you're all like, oh, that's not a good enough reason. I'm like, it doesn't, I guess, like, I, you know, for the rest of the world it doesn't need to be. I'm like, but at the same time, it's not the rest of the world that's dealing with this, it's you that's dealing with this. So anyways,
Worked on beating Cinna and Clint's fucking Mega Bonk scores. Now look what I have to do. So fucking annoying. I had to cancel my plans. Which reminds me, I don't think there's gonna be a Halloween stream this year. I don't think that's realistic with kind of the vibes of things right now. But I mean, is anyone gonna be mad at me if I do, like, you know, like a Halloween in November thing? Or, I mean, there's always next year, right? I mean, yeah, I mean, things happen outside of your control. So, yeah.
that's the thing though, where it's like, and maybe it takes a while for a creator to realize that the thing is with like your fans, it doesn't matter what it is that you're going through, they're going to support you regardless. So she's thinking along the lines like, you know, like maybe that might not work, Halloween in November. I'm like, fam, I ain't never heard of that before, but I support it. You know, where it's like it can be like maybe, and I guess like it could work out like that too. But I mean, it really is just up to her on like when she wants to come back. But yeah, it could be like a Halloween / Thanksgiving stream where it could be like a Thanksgiving dinner, but everybody's dressed up in like a Halloween costume and stuff. Cause I bet you like, yeah, after Halloween ends, the costumes is gonna probably be like half off. Get you a quick costume or just, you know, something that they got on Amazon. I'll do it. It sounds like a good idea, this thing. But yeah, it's just something where I'm like, you know, but for when you want to come back though, like talking to Emeru, it's like, yeah, it's really up to you whether it's like you want to come back in November or December or whenever, you know. But yeah, really at the end of the day, it is up to her, because yeah, it's like, you know, dealing with some stuff like that. Yeah, you're the TwitchCon stuff and then this stuff with mizkif. I'm like, yeah, I imagine that's gonna be a lot for a person to take in and stuff. Because I know I was kind of going through some stuff in 2020, and I feel like I should have taken a longer break. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, breaks are needed, you know. So
It's just crazy, but I mean, thank you guys for listening to me talk and complain. Okay. Yeah, I appreciate it. So, the next thing, at the end of my last stream, I said that when I got home, I would be talking about some other things that I really, really did not want to talk about. But I feel like those things, developing independently of their own from the TwitchCon incident, have gone to a point where I kind of feel like I have no choice. So, I've already seen a lot of people speculating about what I'm going to be talking about, and some people have been right, but even for the people who were right, they were only like 5 to 10% right. I don't think I've seen a single person online who knew or understood the severity of what I want to talk about today.
yeah, because I was like, I was just scrolling through social media and seeing it, and I was like, whoa, wait a minute. Like for one, I'm like, that's how out of tune I am with like content creators and they personal life. I didn't even know that they were in a relationship, and I was like, because I did know somewhat of mizkif, and then yeah, Imaru. I'm like, I've been following her for a minute now, but yeah, I was like, dang, I just like I didn't know. It's so. But yeah, then when I seen all that stuff, I was like, oh wow. I'm like, oh, this is insane. And then when she did the stream where she was talking about it and stuff, because yeah, as you guys see this on YouTube, but no, it's like I seen that she did the stream, she was kind of talking about it and stuff, and I was just like, dang, I'm like, man, this is some serious stuff. So yeah, man, I was like, I didn't know. That is one of those things where I was all like, just kind of seeing it for the first time. I'm like, man, that's crazy to, you go from that TwitchCon stuff and then it's like now you gotta talk about this. I'm like, man, she definitely needs a break. She needs a long extensive break to just kind of, I guess like get back to how things was before, like just that mindset and that, feelings and vibes and stuff. But
And I want everyone to be aware that I've been handling the situation very seriously, and I've spent a lot of time thinking this over. And not only that, I've been in contact with a lawyer. I had them review everything that I'm planning to say today, because I wanted to make sure that if I was going to do this, I was going to do it right, because it's so serious. And I feel like it's going to change things forever. And so today, I'm finally going to be opening up about and telling everyone sorry, I swear I'm not trying to like make this dramatic or something. Like I said, I really wish I were not feeling like I had to do this. Just give me some time. I'm gonna be doing a lot of I guess you could say like fourth wall breaking in a way, and talking about things that I thought would always be personal, and just, I would just carry them myself. Today, I'm finally going to be opening up about the psychological and domestic abuse, stalking and harassment, sexual assault, and threats of blackmail that mizkif has done towards me, and some of these issues which are still ongoing. For the entirety of this year, I have attempted to separate myself from him and not talk about him at all, and not talk about this issue and just not make it a public thing. I always tried my best to keep this to myself, but like I said, I feel like it's gone to the point, which I'll explain later, that I feel like it just has to be done. And I have always believed in not condemning people or starting drama online. So I'm sure a lot of people are going to be asking, why am I doing this and why now? And I would like to explain that before I get started so that people understand what prompted me to do this today, and that it's not just on a whim or something like that. Okay, so like I said, I took a lot of notes, so forgive me if I just end up reading off my notes. The first and probably most severe reason is that one of the rules that I set for myself a long time ago about withholding this information was that if I ever felt like somebody else was in danger or being hurt, I would then make myself speak about it. And 2 weeks ago, actually 3 weeks ago now, I was informed by 3 separate people, one of whom was present for said incident, that he had done something similar to something that he had done to me, and to someone in LA at the end of September. And this person is not a streamer or content creator, but obviously that does not matter. And because of this, I cannot in good conscience sit here knowing that I know critical information about someone that almost no one else does and not say anything. I think that most issues and dramas should stay private and off the internet, and I still hold that belief to this day, and I will hold that belief going forward. However, there are certain things that cross the line, and I say that the line has been crossed too many times to be count. There's a point where I believe that people deserve to know. I think that at a certain point, if you know a lot of things about someone and you don't say anything to look out for others, it's wrong. It's wrong to keep it to yourself. I don't want what happened to me or what has happened to other people because of him to happen to other people. And I don't believe he will ever stop behaving the way he does. But regardless,
It's like people like that. You know, the thing is, and it's crazy because that movie I had mentioned, I think it was based on a true story, the Farrah Fawcett movie, where she, like, I don't know, she tied him to the bed or just waited till he went to sleep. But anyways, but yeah, like all throughout the movie, he's like, oh yeah, I'm changed, I'm gonna do better. Right back to the same old stuff, you know. And it's things like that where I'm like, it confuses me because I'm like, fam, this is somebody that, like, they got love and care for you. Like, you know, the first time around, it's like you do that crap, and then it's like, okay, you know, maybe it was anger, maybe it was frustration, stress, and all this other stuff. You had your breaking point, you didn't know how to, like, properly. But I'm like, man, my thing is this: I could be as mad as I want to be. I don't care what the situation is. It's like I'm not going to take my anger out on a random person, but especially a person that, you know, they say that they, like, love and care for me and stuff. You know, like, even I can't really compare it to this, but even when I had worked at my last job, and I mean, I had some days where I was like, I'm done. Like, I can't do this no more, man. I'm about to quit this place and go somewhere else. But no, it's like the thing is this: it's like I'll come home, I'll be as stressed as I can be and stuff. My, like, family would see that and they just be like, you know, hey, what's going on? What's the matter and stuff? And I'll tell them, and I'm like, you know, but it's like, hey, but it's like, it ain't you, just some stuff that I'm going through. So if I'm being distant, all that, I'm like, I just need my personal, you know, time and space and things. But yeah, but it's like, and that's the thing where it's just, you know, getting back to talking on him and stuff. It's like, what reason do you have to, whether it's anger or whatever the case may be, it's just that behavior and stuff. What reasons do you have, I guess, to, you know, to behave that way? And it's like, if you want to say it's your upbringing, if you want to say it's because of this, it's because it's like there's no excuses for carrying on like that. So I'm like, yeah, somebody like mizkif, I'm like, yeah, you definitely don't need to be in the content creating sphere if that's how you're gonna carry on, because I think it has a lot to do with his ego. Like and I don't know, maybe he might come out and tell the truth, maybe he won't, but me personally, I feel like that it's like people, they get to that point where their ego gets so big to the point where they're like, oh, I could do this and get away with that, I could do that and get away with it. Because I guarantee and I promise you, he gonna go about his content creating career as if nothing's going on. He's gonna be like, oh, this stuff's blown over, it's all this and that. And then yeah, he's going, and that's why I feel like why he did his stream where he was trying to like, oh, she killed her rabbit, she threw a plushie at me, she did. And it's like, fam, the stuff that she's accusing you of, like, it's that stuff that you can actually go to jail behind. So it's like, it's just certain things with him. That's why I'm like, man, I don't know. I'm like, it's going to, maybe I gotta see his point of view of stuff. Maybe I might get a better understanding. But as far as I see it, it's just somebody with a big ego thinking that they got control over people like that. And it's like, fam, you got control over yourself, and that's as far as it needs to go. So anyways,
I said one of the main reasons I decided to do this stream is to come out about all of this, because I can't hold on to it any longer, because it feels wrong to do so. And an honorable mention reason for why I'm doing this is that for a while, he has been indirectly threatening me through my friends and people that I work with. They've informed me that he said that if I ever talked about anything he did, he would try to create a smear campaign against me in retaliation. I was told that he even approached other streamers who were close with us back when we lived together, asking them if they would join with him, and they all refused.
yeah, because it's like, it's things like that where I'm like, I don't know, I add myself into the mix of things. I'm like, do you think that's a wise idea to, be going up this, like, you trying to build like some team against her or something? I'm like, you think that's a wise idea? You think that's something where it's like, because I feel like if these creators, if let's just say if they were like, yeah, we're gonna do that, it wouldn't have just been him getting canceled. It would have been all of them getting canceled. So it's like, on top of that, then it's like I'm also losing out on a friendship where it's like she's not approaching me and asking me like, oh, let me, go up against you and stuff. You're having to go out your way. So it's like, my thing is this: what friendship you think is better? The friend that's like handling their business on their own, or the friend that's knocking on my door talking about, hey, let's go up against Imaru and and yeah, overall get her canceled or whatever. And it's like, man, get up out of here. That's just crazy.
At TwitchCon, he approached one of my employees, threatening them and saying if I ever talked about him, he would destroy me. Multiple people have told me that his plan was to claim that I kill animals and that I killed my own rabbits, since I had several of my rabbits pass away over the course of 3 years while I lived with him.
That's crazy.
I'm sure he's probably listening now, and it's probably going to come as quite a shock to him that this information made its way back to me and that I've known for months. But if you try to threaten me to stay quiet, especially using my poor dead animals, I'm not going to stay quiet. Okay. So now that I've explained all the reasons why this took so long and why I made the decision to do this stream, I have a few more things I would like to get out of the way before I start talking about all of this. The way that I'm going to do this today is I'm going to run through everything from the beginning to the end to try to get across the story as accurately and fully as I can. And, hold on. I'm also going to be showing a few screenshots validating what I'm saying. I have more things, but this is what I felt comfortable using today. And, I will be running through those later. Another thing that I'd like to mention before I start is that during my statement, I'm going to be mentioning directly the names of about half a dozen other creators who were present for certain things. And I want to say that none of these people did anything wrong. I'm just saying that they were there, and I've asked all of them permission they all said that it was fine to include their names, but I know this won't stop everyone, but I ask people, for the streamers that I mentioned, please don't go bothering them or asking them for more information. If there's something else that they want to say, they'll say it themselves, so there's no point to go pester them and bother them about it. There are also streamers who gave me permission to share things that they relayed to me privately, but asked me to redact their names, which I, of course, did. And the last thing that I want to make clear is that not every person that I interact with or that I'm friends with knew the extent of all of these things. And in fact, most of them didn't. And some of them didn't even know anything at all. I tried to keep things private with my close friends, but if anyone during the past year ever approached me asking questions, I didn't lie and I told them the truth. But yeah, I don't want there to be some kind of witch hunt like, oh, you knew and this. No, a lot of people, didn't know everything or didn't know anything. Okay, I think that's all that I have to get out of the way to start. So, this is public information. I initially moved in. Sorry, I'm still sick, like I said. Okay. This is all public, obviously, this part. I moved in with him. I believe it was the end of 2021, because he offered. I was living alone at the time, and I was having stalker issues in Kansas, and I mean, you guys know, like, all the stuff that happened there. I ended up joining the org and everything. We did a lot of streams together, and I mean, a lot of people already know this, but I'm just gonna come out and say it. We started dating. We were in a relationship starting January 2022, after I joined OTK. I'm not planning to go into too much detail about the start of the relationship because it honestly doesn't really matter at this point. It's irrelevant now. The only things that really matter that you guys need to know for the story are that it was, one, an extremely private relationship. It was even hidden from friends and people in the org, but I mean, obviously people all eventually figured it out. They're not fucking stupid. And second, it was an extremely codependent relationship, which it's not the issue, but that's just, making that clear for details. He initially portrayed himself to me as someone who was very nice to girls and wanted to help me feel safe from stalkers and wanted me to succeed as a teammate, and we grew very close over time, and I was very dependent on him for feelings of safety, social life, like my stream, my job.
That's one thing where I'm like, I feel like the new way of going about that. I mean, it really, at the end of the day, it's like however you want to go about the relationship, then, you go about it that way. But I feel like if a girl were to, like, me and this, like, whoever, like, we get into a relationship and she's like, how can you ensure my safety, like, to, because, like, yeah, really, at the end of the day, she don't know me, all she just knows is the person that I'm being, I guess, to, furthermore, like, escalate the relationship. But she asked me that question, like, how can you ensure to me that, like, nothing, you're not going to change, or you're gonna act crazy or abusive and all that. I'm like, my thing is this: join a fighting class. If you need to, do that, join a fighting class, join a, like, whether it's like you want to do like Brazilian jiu-jitsu, self-defense, whatever the case may be, do stuff like that. take some shooting lessons, do whatever you need to do. Have it where you have more fighting and shooting training than me and stuff. Like if I'm in the gym and in a fighting class or whatever for 4 hours, being there for 5 hours, you know. So, but no, it's just one of those things where I'm all like, you know, do what you got to do to ensure your safety. But you know, and that's the thing where it's like I encourage that because I'm like, okay, let's say the relationship it ends because you know we need to go our separate ways or we don't have time for each other or whatever. For the next person, you know, it's like, yeah, in case if they're carrying on like that, then yeah, you know, you're protected and stuff. And so yeah, I'm like, it's that speaking up for your self and things. I'm not saying that Imaru didn't, but I'm just saying, and if they are taking advantage of you or if they're not listening to you know what you're saying, then yeah, it's one of those things where I'm all like in that relationship before it gets started, you know. So anyways,
Everything. So yeah, besides it being a very codependent relationship, the start of it was fine. I saw a lot of people mentioning this. They thought this was what I was going to talk about. It's not a secret. I think everyone who paid attention knew that he was very controlling over what I wore, to a degree, who I was friends with, and even when I would stream. So when it was definitely slow over time that bad things started happening. At the start, it would be things like, for example, he would throw bottles, like plastic bottles with liquid in it, not like glass bottles, at me, despite me telling him like I didn't like it and it scared me and I bruise very easily. He would throw his phone at me. I would tell him, you know, it scared me, I don't like it. And one time it even hit me in the eye, which caused me to get a black eye, but he always, you know, was like, oh, it's an accident. And I was like, oh yeah, it's an accident. Like, you know, of course I'm not gonna think that, you know, he's, yeah, I just,
like an accident is like my thing is this: if you tell me like, hey, don't do that, all right, I'm like, I'm pushing a boundary here and I'm like, I ain't gonna infiltrate that and stuff. An accident is like if like, hey, can you hand me my phone or whatever, and if I decide to get all tricky with it and things, take the phone, throw it behind me or something, not realizing you were that close or whatever, and it's like you know, then stuff like that is an accident. But if it's like if she doesn't had to tell you numerous times like, hey, don't do that, and then you still doing it anyways, and now it's like you gotta, I just think that that's him not wanting to, you know, take accountability. It's like, you know, he realized he messed up and yeah, he's just trying to like downplay it, and it's like, fam, you were warned, like stop doing that. I don't know what part of that's not clicking in your head, but anyways.
at the time, I just kind of was, you know, I just brushed it off. And looking back now, I feel like that was kind of the start of him testing my boundaries, if that makes sense. So that was already kind of starting to show signs within the first 6 months of me and him being close. And then, again, a very public situation. The end of 2022, the cover-up allegations happened. I mean, yeah, like I said, all that's public. You can find all that, see like what I said during that, everything. After that happened, his behavior started getting a lot worse, which, I mean, I suppose it makes sense. You know, he was very stressed. A lot of stuff was happening, but
yeah, I'm like, that's still, there's no excuses. I'm like, the thing is this, everybody, look, here's the thing. Everybody's gonna have like different levels of stress. You know, like you might be stressed because it's like, oh dang, like I'm gonna be late on this like, you know, this car payment or whatever, or I'm gonna be late on the mortgage, or I'm trying to find a job, or I'm in between jobs, or I got too many jobs, whatever the case may be. The thing is this, everybody's gonna have a different, you know, version of what caused their stress. stress is the same, and that's the thing where it's like it has like that same, effect to your body and things. I just think whoever the person is, if they don't know how to manage their stress, I'm like, okay, then you shouldn't have so much on your plate. But at the same time, it's like there are people around you that care about you. And if you're like, oh, I'm stressed out, that's why I punched you in the face. Like, oh, I'm stressed out, that's why I ran you over with a car. I'm like, but I'm sorry, it was an accident. That's not, no. I'm like, that's to me, I'm like, no, you have issues. And I'm like, that's not stress, that's like you have mental issues. So I just, when people and they be like, oh, I'm stressed out and that's why I do this and this, I'm like, okay. I'm like, I get stressed out too. I'm like, I'm stressed out as I'm doing this video. I'm not like, oh, I'm like, Imru don't know what she's talking about. Like she's like, she's just gaslighting, and it's like, no, bruh. I'm like, I could hear what she's talking about. I know what she's going through. It's like I've seen that type of stuff in action. I've talked with friends that went through this type of stuff. And yeah, and it's like just watching the news and hearing, yeah, and it's like that's the thing. I'm like, I'm not gonna downplay whatever I'm going through. I'm putting that aside and I'm listening to whatever it is that I need to listen to. So,
Bad
anyways.
behavior was ramping up, and I really, I feel like it's so apparent if like you go back and watch anything from that time. I tried so hard to help him and be there for him because I really believed in him, and I wanted him to, get better and get back on his feet and be the person that, I always believed that he was. But that unfortunately did not really happen. For a long time, I think about a year and a half from when that all happened, it was kind of like slow things getting worse. But I mean, honestly, I'm not even gonna bother going into the details of all of that because there's just too much to cover, and it's honestly kind of not really relevant to the rest of what I'm saying because the rest of what I want to say is a lot worse. There was a point where things really took a turn for the worst. Like it felt like, like a very delicate branch just kind of snapped. So, and again, a lot of people are like vaguely aware of this, but I'll explain it for people who aren't, chronically tapped into all that stuff. So for a long time after the like cover up allegations happened and he was like starting to kind of struggle on his stream, he never wanted to stream at the same time as me. Like we really avoided it. And to me at the time it made sense because, I was like, well, of course, like, we share a lot of community members. If we're live at separate times, we're both gonna perform better, it makes sense. But yeah, we were never really live doing the same thing at the same time for a long time, with the exception of like things like events or sponsors or like, just special things. For a very long time, and a lot of you guys probably noticed that I would only usually stream on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. That was because of him. And now I stream whenever I want, but the first time that we ever streamed at the same time was for the 2024 Rust Kingdoms event on Twitch. We were sharing drops, so it was the first time in a very long time that we were both going to be live at the same time doing the same thing, basically. I know you're probably like, what the fuck does that have to do with anything? But it'll make sense in a bit. So I'm live, he's live, we're both streaming, and like I said, you can go find all of this. This is public. There are clips of this. We're both streaming the Rust event, and I thought it was going really well. I thought everyone was having fun. I was like, oh, this is great. Everyone's, doing the same thing at the same time. We're all hanging out. We're gonna have fun. Like, I was really, really excited. And then I start seeing in my chat people start saying unofficial Miz raid, and I'm like, what does that mean? And then I check my Discord messages, and he's messaging me. He's saying like, Emmy, you know, I'm gonna kill myself. I waited, or I'm gonna KMS. I waited so long for this, etc. And basically he was upset because I had higher viewership than him. That's literally.
You know, stuff like conversations like that, like it always should be taken seriously and all that stuff. But my thing is this. You know, like let's just say if I was dating somebody and she was in the content creating sphere and she had more viewership than me, when has there ever, I guess, because I'm like, it's not like this is the first time this has ever been a thing where I'm like, you know, a guy has been in a relationship with a woman and she's either making more money than him or she has more business opportunities than him, whatever the case may be. It's like, you know, it here, you know, the thing is this. I'm not trying to be funny. I'm not trying to sound funny, but at the same time, like I always, when I hear stuff like that, I always think of this episode of the there's like this like 90s TV show called Martin, where the main character Martin, he was upset at the fact that his girlfriend was making more money than him. And I think about that, and I'm like, yeah, I mean, obviously, I ain't gonna be like asking her, like, you know, am going to be making my own money, but it's like I just think that stuff like that is just I don't know, it's silly to me, you know, and it's like I don't know, like if anything, I'm like you would think that you would be happy and proud that she is like pulling a lot of viewers and stuff, but I mean, if she's pulling more viewers than you, then it's like, okay, well, what's going on with your streams and what's going on with her streams? And if people want to have that conversation, though, it's like, oh, well, she's a woman. Women streamers have more. It's like, okay, well, what could you do for yourself then? If it's like, oh, she's a woman and she's going to pull a lot of streamers by default, then it's like, what could you do? Because there's other, I feel like that there are male streamers that pull in a lot more viewers than Imaru. So it's like, what are you doing that's different from them male streamers? And then I guess like what could you do differently in your stream? Because if you, my thing is this, if you sitting there playing a game, not doing nothing, not having no form of entertainment, you're just expecting people to follow you just based off of your name being mizkif and you're a big content creator, that's not going to be appealing to people. People ain't going to care about that, you know? So that's why I'm like, fam, it's just, it's one of those things where I'm like, you know, if you get better with your streams, you wouldn't have to worry about stuff like that. But I don't know. I think that's somebody where it's like you need to take a long, extensive break from content creating. If content creating got your mind that much, you know, wrapped up to where you're willing to end your life because somebody's getting more viewers, then nah, bruh. I'm like you need to take a break and you need to appreciate yourself more before you get into the content creating sphere. Because that's one thing that I'm like when I got into content creating 15 years ago. That's one thing I'm like, yeah, I want to entertain people, but at the same time I want to be entertained myself. So at one point in time, like I was making content and I was being entertained by my own content, but then as the time went on, I'm like, fam, I know I can get more by entertaining people. So that's why I kind of started opening up myself a little bit more. But it's never been a competition where I'm like, fam, and that's the thing where I'm like, there's friends of mine where they got more followers than me, they have more viewers than me when it comes to like streaming, and then it's like there's people that have like more, they get more views than me on YouTube, more views than me on TikTok. It's like all these different. So yeah, it's one of those things where I'm like, I have to do better. That's how I look at it, where I'm like, I just got to continue grinding more as a content creator. And yeah, I'm like, fam, it's been like that for years, but it's like once when I've realized like my potential as a content creator and I'm like not limiting myself to, oh, let me just do this every day and hope and pray for the best. It's like, fam, like a lot of people kind of treat content creating like it's a slot machine where they're like, okay, let me just pull, see if it lines up, pull, and then they just wait for that. And it's like, it's okay to have that philosophy when it comes to content creating, but at the same time, it's like there's more than just that slot machine. That's, you know, if we're considering the content creating sphere casino, there's just more than just that one slot machine, you know? So it's like you gotta, you know, kind of branch out and see what other stuff that they got in there and things. And that doesn't mean like, oh, I gotta go to another platform. No, like talking on your content, you gotta like branch out when it comes to content, whether you gotta do comedy skits, if you gotta do like some serious acting videos, making music, whatever the case may be. But it's like you can't limit yourself as a creator, because it's like, yeah, Imaru, I have to say, like, just overall over the years watching clips of her, that's what made me into a fan, where it's like whether she's playing a game, cracking a joke, whatever the case may be, she has a personality about herself where it's like, I'm gonna drop a follow. But mizkif, on the other hand, it's like you ain't got no personality and you're expected. It's like I guess like a better question would be, how did you gain your following? You know, and it's like if you gained it based off of a game that you played or whatever the case may be, or if it's like clips here and there and stuff, then you gotta do more of that. But if you gained your following off of other people, then it's like, yeah, it's kind of like one of those things like where an artist is a part of a music group, but they're not like the bigger artists and stuff. But and then like, yeah, let's say the main singer of the group and things like that's the one everybody be, you know, they flaunting to and they love and all that stuff. And then you try going solo and you thinking, oh, they're gonna have that same type of love for me when I was in that band. No, they're not. It's like they want to see what are you capable of as a solo artist. And if you ain't putting out nothing that's good, fam, people ain't gonna be watching you like that. So anyways,
I had higher viewership than him, and like I said, this is during an event, so there were drops. Like everyone knows when there's drops, like it's not even fucking real. But yeah, he starts messaging me. He's really upset. I tried to tell him, I was like, bro, you should come back and play. Everyone's having fun. Everyone's like wondering where you are. But yeah, he ended his stream, and then I'm still live, you know, trying to act like nothing's wrong. And in that house, I had a glass door so I could like see this was happening. He was walking behind me, making sure that I knew he was there. And by the way, so there were many ways out of that house if he wanted to leave the house that were closer to his stream room. He intentionally chose the door that was right by my room. I feel like that's pretty apparent, at least to me. He starts walking behind my stream and slamming the door so loud that my noise gate can pick it up. So even people on my stream are able to hear this is happening. And he slams it so hard and so many times that the front door literally broke. The lock did not work anymore.
oh
It didn't
wow,
work for months, and it would just make this horrible sound that I would have to hear like every fucking day. But anyway, so I hear him back there doing this, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? So I tell my stream, I'm like, hey, guys, I'll be right back. I get up and I go talk to him, and I'm like, hey, what's going on? And he's like, Emmy, like, I hate all of you guys. Like, all you guys do is just take from me, and like, I'm just done. Like,
oh, he's a manipulator. It's like that's what he is. No, he's a flat out manipulator. It's like my thing is this, all right, because I know people would probably ask like, okay, so what would you do if you was dating a girl and she had like more viewers and all that stuff than you? And I'm like, fam, be proud of her. I'm like, if anything, I'll crack jokes about it. I'm like, let's say it's a situation where it's like people just like, no, so let's just say this. Let's just paint out this scenario, right? I start talking with this girl. We start dating. She gets into content creating, brand new to the content creating sphere. And don't nobody know who she is. She don't have no clips, all that stuff. She does one stream with me, skyrocketed her career. She got like 25,000 followers on Twitch. She gained like 100,000 subscribers on YouTube. Hasn't even posted a video yet. She got like thousands of followers on TikTok. I'm like, fam, what's going on? You did one stream with me, and now all of a sudden it's like, what just happened? I'm like, no, it's like if anything's, I'm cracking jokes. I'm like, I guess like with me, I don't care about stuff like that, you know? And it's like, yeah, because I didn't see where friends of mine where it's like you see one day they got like less than 1,000 followers on Twitch, you know, and then yeah, they might like have like 5 viewers or whatever. It might have like slightly a little bit more or something. Next thing you know, look up, they out of nowhere just got like a gang of followers. My thing is this. I'm going to be proud of them like I would want them to be proud of me once when I have my newfound. Because I'm like, yeah, when I had hit 100,000 subscribers last year, there was a bunch of people reaching out to me saying how much they were proud of me, happy for me, and all this other stuff. And I'm like, fam, I'm like, I like that. I like having it where it's like, but yeah, it's people that like, they've reached a lot of different subscribers and followers and all that other stuff. So I'm like, I would want them to be proud of me just like how I would be proud of them and stuff. So yeah, it's things like that where I'm like, I guess like with me, I don't care. I'm like, if anything, I would crack jokes about it, but I'm like, I'm not gonna lose no sleep over it. I'm not gonna be like, oh, I hate you guys. Y'all are doing better than me and stuff. And now it's like, nah, bro. It's like, yeah, they're in a way, it's like, no, not even in a way. It's like, it's just flat out like they're a better content creator than you. So it's like you need to sit down and reevaluate yourself as a content creator and sit down and think, well, what could I do differently? And if you undid all these different things, then it's like, yeah, then it's like maybe you've seen your course when it comes to content creating, or people just don't like you like that. But
I'm
anyways,
just done, and I was like, is this like really happening because of rush drops? And he was like, I don't know what else to do. He was like going off on me, like basically saying that he hated me. And I was like, well, I don't know what to do now. And he was like, go finish your stream so that people don't know anything's wrong.
that's crazy.
And I stop in the bathroom outside my stream room, and I'm like, you know, checking my makeup, trying to make sure people can't tell that I was like crying. And I'm only in there for like 30 seconds, and he comes and like looms in the doorway. He's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, oh, I'm just checking my makeup. So I go back and I stream for a couple hours, finish the stream, do my best to just like, you know, carry on the show basically. And yeah, after that, like I said, was when things started to get really fucking bad. It was like something just snapped. For the rest of the week, he streamed the Rust event. He got all the drop viewers. I'm sure he was very happy. I mean, good for him. And during that time, I obviously was like thinking and processing a lot of what happened. But I mean, it was a lot because this person was at the time like kind of it was like my partner and my best friend, and like the only person that like I really talked to ever, or like at least off stream. So I mean, it was a lot. But the very next stream, I went live about a week after that, and I announced that I was planning to move because I knew that I would have to move. So I was like, okay, I have to go live and say this so that, you know, kind of force myself to commit to it, right? Does that make sense? Obviously, I didn't move out right away, but after like all of that Rust stuff happened was when the other domestic abuse stuff really started. He would destroy furniture in front of me. He would throw things in front of me and near me. Destroy walls. Again, you can go see this in some of his VODs in his bedroom, the holes in the wall. There would be times where he was upset at me, and I would go to my stream room and literally lock myself in to get away from him, and he would be banging on the door and screaming at me. And at the time, he also would more often do things like going, like if we were driving in the car together, he would be going like 150 miles an hour, and like one time he even said like, well, now we're both gonna die.
That's
like
crazy.
Threatening to kill both of us. And this wasn't like even necessarily because of me or like because of something I did a lot of the time. Like one of the times that it happened, it was because we were just getting food, and he was on his phone, and he saw that Mr. Beast had put out a video, and Mr. Beast had invited another streamer, and he was like, oh, Mr. Beast invited this guy to his video, not me. And I was like, oh, well, you know, like, huh, yeah, I guess so.
It's like out of all the things you could have, I don't know, man. Like, I don't get me wrong, like my mind stays like in just content creating mode like 24/7. You know, I'm always thinking of like my next video, like what videos I could do like voiceovers, music, what games I can play for like Twitch and all that stuff. But if I'm hanging out with friends, like I guess like if the conversation somehow like transitions to content creation and stuff, I'm not gonna be like, oh man, like Mr. Beast, he invited this guy, but not me and stuff. And yeah, it's things like that where I'm like, okay, he might know that guy more than he knows you. It's like, when was the last time you and Mr. Beast had a conversation? When have you guys ever hung out? When have you guys like, did you guys grow up and go to school with each other? I'm saying like it's things like that where it's like, fam, don't have that entitlement where you think like, oh, he has to invite me because I'm bigger than this guy and all this other stuff. And it's like, yeah, and I guess like I just feel like that's something that he's not realizing. And it's like, okay, maybe it's because of your personality, your attitude about life. It's like, here it is, you were threatening to kill yourself because your girlfriend had more viewers than you. Why would somebody want that energy in their like just not even in their content creating sphere, but just around them? I'm just saying, if somebody was carrying on like that around me, I'm like, fam, you need to calm down. I'm like, you seriously need to relax. It's stuff like that where I'm like, yeah, if I'm involved in that situation, I'm like, maybe I might not handle it the best way that I possibly can, but it's one of those things where I'm like, I'm gonna talk with them and be all like, bro, you taking this stuff way too seriously. Like, I get it, you want to be a good content creator, you want to be the best, you want everybody to watch you and all that. Everybody's not going to watch you. That's the thing. That's one thing that I've learned throughout the 15 years of me being a content creator, is that not everybody is going to watch me. Yeah, I wish I had the hundreds of thousands, if not millions of views going across my videos, but I don't. Maybe it's me. Maybe it's just this like competition with just being a content creator. But at the same time, I'm not going to allow that to take away what I do have planned for myself as a content creator. So yeah, it's going to take me a while, and I'm like, yeah, it's like I've been doing this for 15 years. I'm like, I've been doing this longer than I should have been doing it and stuff. But at the same time, I'm like, I feel like that it's better for me to be in this position than to have a position where it's like, okay, everything is handed to me. Now what do I do? And it's like, and it's like, now where do I go? Now what content can I do and all this? So yeah, I could continue going and stuff, but I'm like, man, with me, it's like, I like the challenge. I like to be able to work. I like to be able to, have it where it's like I can be up day and night, focused on content creating, but I'm not going to be focused on people like that. So yeah, I just think that his philosophy on content creating, I'm like, yeah, bro, you need to stop, because I'm like, it's either gonna get you hurt or get somebody around you hurt. But anyways,
him going 150 miles per hour in the car and talking about killing himself while doing it. Then at home, other things would happen, like I'd be trying to sleep and he would scream at me and say that it was all my fault that he felt insecure. There was a time that I walked into a room that he was in, and as soon as he saw me there, he threw his phone at the dresser and started yelling because I had posted a YouTube video within the same couple of days as him, and mine was doing better. So basically,
that's crazy. And it's like, yeah, Brad, I don't know what I've been saying. I'm like, that's just sad. I'm like, you're upset that your girlfriend is doing better than you as a content creator. And it's like I said, okay, what is she doing differently? I'm just saying, but anyways.
I felt like I was kind of stuck in a loop where I felt like I had to constantly perform and like prove my value to not be thrown away, but at the same time, if I ever performed too well, I was gonna be punished for it.
And that's the thing. Nobody should have to do no stuff like that. I'm just saying, for me, it's like, I'm not going to limit myself, but at the same time, I'm not going, like, I do want to be appreciated for who I am, but at the same time, it's like, I shouldn't have to limit myself, and I shouldn't have to like overperform, like me as a boyfriend or as a content creator or whatever and stuff. I'm like, nah, I shouldn't have to do all of that. It's like, I should just be accepted for who I am. But that's the thing where it's like, we just live in a day and age today where it's like, we can't live like that. Like we have to, it's just weird how we have to go about life with some people. But yeah, it's like you're having to do all of that, and I'm like, I don't know, like I feel like if I were to get into a relationship and I noticed that she was doing all of that, like she's like, oh, I gotta like earn my place. I'm like, you don't have to earn nothing with me. It's like we've gotten into a relationship. I'm like, I feel like that's like the most that we can do, unless like, yeah, we start talking on something serious, like, you know, like marriage and starting a family and all that stuff. But I'm like, I guess like with stuff like this, like content creating, you don't have to earn nothing with me. You could put out a video of yourself just walking like what 7 feet or something and just be like, oh, here's a video of me walking. If that video gets like 100,000 views, I'm like, fam, how do you get 100,000? Because like wait, how I grew up, it's like we'll talk on stuff like that. We'll pretend that we're jealous and upset about it and all this other stuff, but we're cracking jokes and having fun about it. It's like, fam, I'm like, I posted a video where it's like, it was like I was acting, I did my own stunts, I had set my whole arm on fire and things, like obviously not like, you know, but like a protective, like a sleeve or like that flame gel or something. I did all these crazy stunts, then skydived. I did like a whole Mission Impossible YouTube video. That video only got 1,000 views. You walked across the street, you got 100,000. I'm like, yeah, it's stuff like where it's like we can laugh about it, we could crack jokes about it and stuff. But I'm not gonna be like, oh, let me throw my, you know, however much I paid for a phone or so. Yeah, let me throw my $1,000 phone across the room, cuss you out, say you're, you know, you're worthless and this and that, call you all out your name and things. I'm like, nah, bro. It's things like that where I'm like, no, we at least like for me, it's like, yeah, we have fun like in my circle and stuff. But yeah, it's like living like that, I'm like, yeah, I couldn't be friends with somebody, like I wouldn't want to be in a relationship with somebody like that. I probably would have ended that relationship a long time ago. I'm like, with me, it's just like I don't play around about stuff like that. So it's like, yeah, if the first time all that stuff would have been going on, I'm like, nah, I'm out. I'm like, I'm out of here, I'm leaving. I'm like, I don't care if I gotta crash at people's homes and stuff, but I'm like, I'm not going to be around this, and then now my mental is all messed up. But anyways,
And it just felt like a very rough situation to be stuck in because, I mean, streaming is my hobby and my job. Like, it's a huge part of my life, even before, you know, I met him and became like a larger creator. And I remember thinking all the time how it felt like he hated me, but he still wanted me around for his channel and like his thumbnails and everything. And this is still before I moved out. There was a time where it was the tension in the house was so unbearable that I would sneak out and I would sneak into Esfan's house using my code. And Esfan didn't know why I was doing this. He saw me a couple times. I'd be like, oh, I'm just gonna go take a nap in your guest room. He'd be like, yeah, that's fine. I would sneak into Esfan's house just to have some time of like peace and quiet. But eventually, he figured out where I was going, and he would go over to Esfan's house to keep telling me off. And there was a time that he did it, and I was laying in the guest room bed, and one of the roommates in that house had come to see like why I was crying, and they were standing in the corner. And he came in, and he was very physically aggressive. He was like, Emmy, like, what are you doing? Like, angry. And then as soon as he turned and saw this other person standing there, he instantly, like, deflated and changed his tone. He was like, oh, Emmy, I was wondering where you were. Like, are you coming home? And,
yeah, it's like that, and it's that type of stuff where I'm like, nah, she ain't going nowhere with you. I'm like, if this girl, my thing is this, but you didn't even see me over here, and then you came in with this aggression and stuff. Yeah, it's stuff like that where I'm like, you know, man, I would love to just be in a situation like that, just because I know what I would do. It'd definitely be a situation where I'm like, yeah, if I had seen that, I'm like, they had been probably some, you know, breaking news thing. They were like, oh yeah, content creator TMossBoss seen getting arrested for physically assaulting another content creator, you know, and I'm like, yeah, because it's stuff like that where I'm like, I just, with me, it's like, I don't play around with things like that. And then it's like, you know, I hear about it. I know I can't do nothing at the time being, but if I'm right there seeing it, I'm like, nah, I'm like, you gonna have to fight me to get through her. So it's like, what you trying to do? So that's, I'm like, yeah, I just think that, and I'm not saying that, you know, like people gotta like risk their lives, but at the same time, it's like, you know, just, I mean, I don't know. Like me, I would say I'm a little bit different. It's like, I guess like with me, I would. But you know, like I guess like people that are like, oh, that's not my place, or you know, and it's like, yeah, you know, you do what you gotta do. It's like not saying that you have to, but I'm just saying that it's like, you know, there should be better ways on protecting our like, you know, peers, whether it's friends, family, whichever. But anyways.
That roommate like later asked me about it and they were like, what the fuck was that? Like, are you okay? And I was just like, oh, it's nothing, because I felt like a lot of the reason that I didn't tell the people around me was because I felt like no one would understand, or even if they understood, it would just be a burden to them, because all of our streams and social circles and communities are so intertwined. I was like, maybe it's just better for me to deal with this and like hope things get better, basically. I honestly don't even remember what the final straw was that I finally was like, okay, it's time to go. Like, I prepared the house that I lived in before this one, like, pretty much immediately after the, like, breaking the front door thing happened, but I was still, like, scared and unsure. So I don't remember what the final straw was, but I remember the day I took Cheddar to the house, because he just randomly started like screaming at Cheddar and was like, get that fucking cat out of my house. So I just grabbed Cheddar and put him in my car and grabbed his litter box and took him there, and I just left him there and never took him back to that house. And then I think like within several days after that was when I finally moved out. It was on very short notice. Like I said, I don't even remember what the final straw was because so many things happened, but there was a time when I just knew. I called some movers. I said, hey, can you come tomorrow? And they were like, yeah, and then I literally moved the next day. Moving out into the last house that I lived in was a huge step mentally, because, like I said, a big part of why I moved into the first house in Texas in the first place was because I felt like it was the safest option for me, because, you know, I am a girl where it's like kind of scary for me to be living alone. So it was very hard, and at the time, even though like all these other things had already happened, I was very hopeful that me and him could be cordial and like eventually like things would be fine, at least publicly, like for stream reasons, that, you know, everyone could just keep streaming like nothing had happened. And, you know, at the time I thought that would be the best thing to do, and I felt like if I, you know, separated myself from him without explaining anything, people that watched us wouldn't understand and would attack me. I was yeah, I mean, it ended up happening anyway, so, but yeah, after I moved out, we, like I said, still kept in contact. I had hope that somehow things would get better. He would always beg for me to come back, and he would promise therapy and change. And
like I said, with that Farrah Fawcett movie, it's crazy how like lately they have been showing that, and this was like before all of this stuff. Like they had showed that movie at least like 2-3 times on TV, and it's like, why have they been showing this movie a lot recently? I'm like, what? Like, what's going on? It ain't even like it's the, I don't, like, maybe it was her birthday, or it was, I don't even think it was like an anniversary or anything. And so, but I'm like, I'm trying to like figure it out. I'm like, why are they showing this movie so much? And then it's like all this stuff done went down, and I'm like, man, and it's just crazy how like right before doing this video, it's like I'm sitting here thinking of that movie and stuff, and I'm like, it's just it's weird, like, like I'm with me, it's like I'm a little bit, nah, I wouldn't say like I'm like one of those like, oh, I'm standing outside of schools, I'm like, Jesus love you, holding up them type of signs, like that much of a religious person, but I am religious, and that's one thing that I do pay attention to are signs. And it's just, yeah, to me it's like it's crazy how, like, I'm not going to talk about it for this video, but just kind of like to just give you like kind of like a brief summary. Like, there's at times where I'll like dream about stuff from when I was a kid, and then it'll be like years later that's like, that very same thing will happen right then and there and stuff, and like I just to kind of like mention one, it was like one was a video game, and I know it's kind of like a silly thing to talk on, but still it's something that like sticks with me, and I think about it and I'm like, dang, that's just weird how that. But then no, but it's like other times too where it's like, I'll learn of some information and I'm like, why did I learn that? Why do I keep remembering that? And then it's like it'll be like fast forward, be some time later, whether it's months, years, whenever, then I'll be in a situation where I'm like, I know the answer to this. I know how to. So yeah, it's like it's just crazy to me where it's like in that movie, it's like whole movie. It's like, yeah, dude acting crazy, carrying on in a certain way and stuff. And then yeah, then it's like the woman would leave, and then he's like, oh, I'm changed. I did this and did that. And then, but yeah, it's like he did it, and I'm like, seemed like the only time he changed was when he got set on fire in that bed and stuff. So, not trying to be funny, but I'm just saying, like, yeah, it's one of those things though where it's like, is that what it's gonna have to take? And I'm like, I'm not saying that she would do some stuff like that, but talking on Emeru, but I'm just saying it's like, you could be dealing with somebody that would do with some stuff like that. So it's like that's what I'm saying. I'm like, people, it's like you gotta have respect for others. Like whether it's friends, family, relationships, all that. You gotta have respect. But anyways.
Like, even talk to other people and like kind of present like, oh, I want to change, I want to be better for Emmy or whatever, There was a short period in October where we had broken up because, I mean, honestly, it doesn't matter now. And when that happened, I honestly felt relieved because I was like, okay, finally, it's like on his terms. So that means he'll be satisfied and be able to say it was his choice, and he'll leave me alone. Because whenever I would try to push for it, it just felt like I couldn't like really sever it, if that makes sense. But I mean, obviously, hence me doing this stream, that was not the end of it. A week after this breakup, he asked to come over to my house and talk from closure. He came to my house, and I was crying like crazy because the emotions were just very high, because I was dealing with a lot of major shifts in my life as a result of me attempting to start to try to distance myself from him. So yeah, we were just talking and I was crying a lot. He started to try to comfort me by hugging me while I was sitting on the couch and holding me really close to him. And when this was happening, we hadn't talked in quite a while, and I'm usually very uncomfortable with being touched a lot by people that I'm not in a relationship with. But I let him hold me while I was crying. And he started kissing me in my face, and I let him do it. I was still sobbing a lot. And then suddenly, he tried to climb on top of me and aggressively shoved his hand down my pants. And I screamed. Yeah. And
That's just such a weird thing. Like, yeah, that's just weird. Like, that's one of those things where I'm like, somebody's crying, and then it's like, yeah, then it being like, whether like girlfriend, ex, whatever. I just don't think that that's the time for that. Like I just like I don't know, like people's relationships are different. You know, there might be some people that are like, oh yeah, I do that. My significant other all the time. She's cool with it and things. I'm like, yeah, but that don't mean everybody's gonna be cool with it. So yeah, it's just one of those things where I'm like, I guess that just wouldn't cross my mind. I'm like, I don't feel like that's like a weird thing to say. It's like somebody's crying. I don't know, like to me, it's like crying is like such an awkward thing. So like if somebody's like in such a vulnerable spot where they break down in tears and start crying in front of me, and I'm like, I don't know how to like handle. I'm like, yeah, that's like even with like hugging, I'm like, I guess like with me, I'm the other way where it's like somebody get to crying around me, I'm kind of awkward with that type of stuff. But it's like they're opening up and they trust me and they're cool with me and all that. But I'm just kind of sitting there like, yeah, you know, it's gonna be okay. I don't know, like I don't know what to say or do. Like I feel like my mind just goes blank. But yeah, it's like it's stuff like that. I'm like, yeah, it's his mind. It wasn't in the right place. I'm like, it's one of those things where it's like his intentions were completely different. I think that's probably the one of the main reasons on why he wanted to be in a relationship and stuff is because he thought he could do things like that, and it's like, nah. It's like it's stuff like that where I'm like, you have to again have respect for people. So,
When I
anyways,
screamed, he jumped off me like a cat, like. And instead of apologizing or checking if I was okay, he said, "I feel weird now. I feel like I did something wrong. I have to go." And he immediately left my house while I was still crying
that's crazy.
without checking if I was okay or anything. And at the time, I was still making excuses for him, and I was still afraid of causing trouble for other streamers around us, or like, you know, making things weird for viewers. I know that probably sounds crazy, but like I just felt this pressure, like I had to try to keep things together, if that makes sense. Um, I, yeah, I felt like I'd cause trouble for so many other people if I ever said anything bad about him, or if I caused rifts in our friend group or streamer group. I tried to stay on good terms with him and hold everything in, and also I still cared about him a lot, and I still at that point had hope that things would get better and that, you know, he would improve. And he'd also always hammer into me how he never physically abused me because he never hit me, and he would coach me and tell me to tell people or other streamers who were asking about it because they were concerned. He would say tell them that I never hit you, make sure that they know that I never hit you.
And that's something that you shouldn't have to tell a person. You know, it's like, yeah, it's you know, I know I joke around with that a little bit but it's like I don't say like, oh, I'm gonna like punch you in the face or I'm gonna slap you, kick you, things like that. Like I'll say like a wrestling move, oh, I'm gonna hit you with a spine buster and things. But it's like it's stuff where I'm like, I know I'm not in no physical shape to be lifted up nobody and slam. But it's like I'll say that as a joke, but it's like I know I'm not gonna go out and do no stuff like that. But it's like you are actually going out and doing stuff like that, and it's like, fam, you shouldn't be in a relationship. It's like if like you know you're not valuing that person for like a significant other. It's like you just only want to take advantage of them. You want them to be your personal punching bag. And it's like, fam, relationships don't work like that. I'm gonna let you know that right now. So yeah, it's one of those things where I'm like, whether you are that individual or you are in a relationship with somebody like that, I'm like that gotta end, you know. So but yeah, it's just to me, I'm like stuff like that. You shouldn't be coaching nobody, and it's like having to tell people and things. It's like, yeah, it's like, you know, joking around, and it's like I like, yeah, like I say, like I'll say like wrestling moves and stuff like that's just my sense of humor. But no, it's like even if it's on some stuff where it's like if she's all like I'm that sense of humor makes me uncomfortable, and if I like my thing is this, especially if I know too like her background with relationships, I probably wouldn't even crack no jokes like that. I'll crack jokes like that probably around her with other people, but as far as her, I'm like, nah. I'm like, I know your history and stuff. I mean, if you cool with it, then it's like, okay, you gotta let me know. That's why I'm like, communication is a key thing in a relationship. But yeah, but it's like at the same time, I'm like, but the whole like having the culture, and I'm like, nah, bruh, you shouldn't be in a relationship if you having to do stuff like that. But anyways,
Around the same time, this was during OnlyFans 2, so I guess like December-ish. He would often message me in the middle of my streams and berate me for things like playing the same class as him in WoW because he thought it would make people think that I was better than him. And again, like I said earlier, I felt like I was stuck in a constant loop.
I'm like, man, there are some people where I'm like, I hear they're, like just hear stories about certain people's relationships. This has to be one of the craziest where it's like you're going off on somebody because they're using the same class as you in a video game. Yeah. It's like it's things like I'm like it's not funny. Like obviously it's a serious matter, but at the same time, it's like, bro, that's like one of the dumbest things that I've heard. Where it's like you're literally putting this girl through like a traumatizing relationship because she's using the same class as you in a video game. I'm like, man, it's he doesn't need to be a content creator. I'm gonna just say that right now. It's like I thought like, oh, maybe he just needs to take a break. Nah, mizkif don't need to be a content creator because it's like the thing is this: he's using his content creating status to his own advantage, to where it's like, oh, I could say this and people are gonna listen and all this other stuff because I'm mizkif, I'm this, I'm that, and it's like, no, whatever your government name is, that's who you are. The mizkif thing, that's just content creating. That needs to be only for entertainment purposes. How are you entertaining anybody by berating them in messages because they using the same class as you? That's all. Like, yeah, he doesn't need to be in a relationship and he don't need to be a content creator. But
I had to perform well to not be thrown away, but if I performed too well, I was gonna be punished. And I actually wanted to show some of those messages because obviously a lot of these things yeah, I'm not gonna fully read these out because I honestly just don't want to read them out, but I feel like I want to show them to like kind of show what I'm saying. And I am planning to probably post the VOD of this somewhere, so if you want to read this later,
that's crazy.
That's fine, I guess.
And it's like, meanwhile, it's like me. It's just if yeah, let's say like whoever girlfriend is, she's in the gaming and stuff, and she's like she messages me talking about like, oh, how could I be better as this character? Bump messages. I'm like, it's like, is it cool? I can go on your stream and stuff. And yeah, she says yeah. That I'm like, it's one of those things where I'm like, it's like, I don't know, like I'm like thinking it as like a movie and stuff, but it's like, okay, I'm sitting there, I'm reading the messages and stuff. I respond back, say, hey, can I like go? But it's just going to instantly cut over where it's like, okay, it's like, nah, it's like, so if you go into it, like, I don't know how World of Warcraft, how it plays out. But anyways, but I'm like, no, so if you're going to play as him, like, you have to use this weapon. Just imitating like I know, but it's like, no, you have to use this weapon, you have to use this ability, you have to have like this level of armor or something, but don't go down this way. Like I'm guiding her, and I'm like, no, it's like I guess like with me, it's like I want the best for everybody, so it's like the same conversation that I would have with her would be with like a random person that were to reach out to me and stuff. And if I was streaming and then they're like, oh, how could I be? So yeah, it's just with me, it's like I'm not going to limit other people so everybody can pay attention to me. It's like I would rather have it where it's like people approach me and they're all like, hey, how do I get better at this? How do I get better at that? And if yeah, and it's like if I help them out, then it's like, yeah, it'd be a thing where it's like, who knows? It's like they'll credit you and be like, oh yeah, such and such helped me out. So it's like either way, it's like you're, because I think what it is that he just wants people to just solely focus on him for whatever class and crap that he got going on. But like I was saying earlier, it's like, if you're an entertaining content creator, it's like you can suck at the game and people are still gonna watch you regardless and stuff. But yeah, it's just, to me, I'm like, man, but like I was saying, I'm like, but he's trying to have it where people are just solely focused on him and not watching nobody else. And it's like, fam, it don't work like that, and it's like, but I feel like if you want people to watch you, then it's like, okay, be there for people, it's like, let people know. It's all like, hey, it's like, or not even so much as that, but it's like people letting others know, like, oh yeah, this is the one that helped me out with World of Warcraft or with this or with that. And it's like, now it's like you're having it where there's all these different people crediting you and you have a bunch of different fan bases, and where it's like at some point in time you would have had the viewership and the love and the respect from everybody that you wanted, rather than like, oh, let me just have it where I put down everybody around me and then it's only me that's being focused on. But anyway,
again, this was all happening while I was live. You can literally go find the stream and see me trying to deal with this while I'm live in the middle of a dungeon.
That's crazy.
Trying to just play the fucking game. Oh fuck, I think Tank Emmy, do it. Let me handle all the hate, the criticism. You're worse than Emmys. The Emmy is so much better. The people saying you're better in every chat. The comparisons says nobody will ever be on my side. Let me deal with it. You have fun. I asked you not to become a tank. You didn't listen. And now it's the classic, what was I supposed to do? I'm not dealing with this. And like I said, you can go find the stream. But for context, I was playing Warrior in World of Warcraft in like a level 24 dungeon. It was like Silverpine. Like, it was just like, it wasn't even like, it was like dog shit gameplay, I'm gonna be honest. Like, so, yeah. Yeah, yeah, you can, read that later, I suppose, if, yeah, like I said before, hold on. I was constantly trying so hard to compromise with him because I wanted to be cool and I wanted us to be able to coexist in the same streaming sphere. But I felt like I could never win, and he hated my whole existence. Like, ever since that one stream where I had like a little bit more viewers than him. And he would say that it was my fault that his stream was dying because most of his viewers liked me, and whenever he hit on another girl, they would be confused or not take it seriously because they knew that me and him were together privately. And he said if he would be able to hit on other girls and convince them that it was real, he would get his career back. That was like, started within the last couple of weeks that we spoke to each other. He started saying terrible things to me about other streamers in Austin. In particular, one specific streamer who, I know there's a lot of people that know he has beef with certain streamers. It was not one of those streamers. It was someone who, to this day, has been nothing but nice to him. He would say horrible things about this person, like about them in their stream, and it was very hard to listen to. And just in general, he would say horrible things about other streamers in Austin, like, I quote, "I hate everyone here. You are all useless to me. You're worthless to me because it does nothing for my stream anymore to collab with any of you." And him saying that was the final straw for me the day that he said that to me about other people was the first day that I ever, for the first time, started to ignore his calls and messages. And
Yeah, that's an odd thing to, and I'm like, I don't have. I guess like with me, it's like I've been on that for I don't know how long. Like I don't know. I feel like I've just kind of been on a journey with myself to where it's like I have to practice like not hating, practice like just overall like just being nice and caring. Like that's even something that I'll do, like, because like I said like earlier, is that I am religious. Like, did you guys can see, like, I got like two Bibles behind me, and it's like I'll go back and forth from like reading each one. And no, but it's like I started like, reading the Bible every night, start praying every night. And that was like the prayer that I prayed last night, was just praying for like peace, with like people that's like I'm not even like cool with and don't talk to anymore. So it's like I'm trying to be more so for talking for myself, like more forgiving, more respectful and all that stuff. I mean, yeah, I'll have my moments where people, bring me out of character and stuff. But yeah, but it's like as far as like yeah, it's like I'll pray for neighbors, I'll pray for friends, family, all that stuff. It's like I might not be able to name drop each and every one. That's why I'm like, just as a collective, like friends and family, those I talk to, those I no longer talk to. And yeah, just be like, hope everything is well with them and stuff. But to be behind closed doors, and it's like I don't know, I can't have like no snake behavior like that, where it's like, oh, behind closed doors I'll talk crazy about this person, but when I see them face to face, then it's like, oh, hey, how is everything, how's life, oh man, you're the greatest, you do all these different cool things and stuff. And it's like, but then behind closed doors, oh yeah, I hate their guts, I hate everything about them. I ain't got it in me. I'm like, I'm at a point in time in my life, I'm 29 years old, I'm like, I can't be going around hating people, hating on people. It's just not me. I'm like, yeah, maybe a younger me would have probably said something different, but yeah, older me is like, yeah, I ain't got that type of energy. I'm like, at least not anymore. But yeah, it's like, I just think that's something that maybe he needs to do too. And I'm like, I don't know if he's a religious person himself. I'm not saying that. It's like, I'm not saying that like to be that overly religious person, but I'm like, I guess like maybe to take his mind off things and to overall put himself in a better spot. It's like, yeah, maybe he needs to be a little bit more in touch with the religion, whether he wants to choose Christianity, the religion that I'm involved in, or something else. But it's like he needs to have a mindset where it's like it's not who he is right now. So, anyways.
because of that, he even threatened to come to my house if I didn't answer. But I did end up calling him back, and I spoke to him, and I basically told him that I felt like I could finally see things for what they were. And he started panicking, and he was super apologetic, and he was saying he didn't want to lose me, which wasn't the first time that he like did something like that, and was like, basically begging me not to leave. But that was definitely the most extreme time. And again, like I said, I always had the hope that things would be cordial, or that, we could be fine with each other. So I agreed, and we agreed we were going to talk about all of that. We talked about it about a week later, and instead of apologizing for anything, he basically told me that he realized he needed to go to Japan and LA to get his viewership back up, and he was basically too young to focus on friendships and relationships. And it was
How are you too young? No, it's just, yeah, you're immature. I'm like, but that ain't got, if you want to grow up, then grow up. Like, yeah, his mind, it's just his thought process on stuff. I'm like, yeah, bro, you just know you don't need to. Yeah, maybe you taking a trip to Cali and Japan and stuff might help you mentally, but if not, then it's like, okay, you come back home and then you're still the same way. It ain't got nothing to do with like, oh, because I feel like he'll blame the trip. He was like, oh, Japan was stupid, it was horrible, it's like this, and it's like, then Cali was dumb too, and it's like, then nah, bro, it's just you don't know how to appreciate the things in your life. Here it is, there's people that like they then lived their whole life and they would have loved to have gone to Japan, never did. There's people that have left this, born and had died in this world and has never got to visit areas that they've always wanted to go to, but they do appreciate the finer things in life where it's like, yeah, they're elderly, old, and they're all like, okay, well, I didn't get to do that, but I'm like, I did this, I did that. Like, that's something to be proud of. That's something to be happy about. Yeah, and it's like, I feel like somebody like him, he'll come back, didn't like it, and he's all like, ah, it was stupid, it was horrible, and all this. And it's like, nah, bro, it's like you just mentally, you're just immature, and yeah, and it's like you want to grow up, but it's like your brain is not capable of growing up. It's like you're limiting yourself. But
I mean, despite everything, like I said, I still cared about him, so it was still hard. And I mean, it was like a mix of feelings, like I was devastated, but I was also so relieved. But because of the past incidents during like other fights and times I would try to separate myself from him, past incidents during those times of him manipulating me into staying close with him and giving him more chances, sexually assaulting me, the abuse, and just him generally not being a very nice person. After that, I decided that the only solution and way for me to move forward, I made the hard decision, but I know now for sure the right one, was to finally completely cut contact with him. I knew it'd be very hard because our careers and our communities were so intertwined, but I knew that I had to do it and that there was no other choice. So I have not spoken to him since January of this year. It's been 10 months. But you think that's the end? It is unfortunately not. I haven't spoken to him since January of this year.
I find it crazy where it's like he most likely did watch this stream, whether he watched it in clips or if he sat down and watched the whole entire stream. But it's like, how could you watch something like this and then you turn around and then you try doing a stream where it's like you paint her out as the bad person? Or even if that's not the case, still, you try to take the heat off of you and then make it seem like that it was a mutual. And maybe it is. Maybe she is just telling her side of the story and she's leaving out some things. But I don't know. She, again, not trying to sound like no fanboy, I just don't think she comes off as that type of person that ain't gonna do no stuff like that. She gonna tell the story. She gonna tell the whole story. What reason does she have to, I guess, leave out something and things? And it's like, oh, this is too bad for me to say this about myself. And it's like it's like she gonna tell the story. She gonna tell it right. So, but I feel like somebody like him, it's like rather than you coming out and properly apologizing and all that stuff, it's like, no, instead you'd rather still play that manipulative game. And it's like, oh, it's like, I'm gonna say this and do this and bring this up and bring that up. And it's like, oh yeah, she threw a plushie at me and stuff. And I was like, okay, well, it's like, the stuff that she's accusing you of, I'm like, yeah, it's like you should be happy that's the most that she did. I'm like, because it could have been worse. So, but anyway,
it took a couple of weeks, but soon the messages started. He has attempted to contact me over 40 times individually this year in individual texts, Discord messages, Instagram DMs, and phone calls. And I'm just gonna show those. And at first, it starts simple. It'd be confusing messages or like him expressing he was worried about things. Like, at first it wasn't anything weird.
It's like one of the messages, like, just at least tell me you moved on. I think by the clear no response, I think yeah, she done moved on. It's like
This is not someone who.
if she wanted to respond, she would have responded. Like I don't get. I'm like yeah, it's stuff like that where it's like okay, I get it. You know, you have love for a person and you want to continue talking with them and stuff, but like if they're not responding to you, I'm like there's been times where I'm like there's people that I grew up with, you know, and I just check see how they doing. Like no, there was I remember there was one time where there was I'm like I'm still to this day I think to myself I'm like I don't know what I could have said or did to where it's like I you know like I just I don't know. I was like this is somebody that I grew up with and I was like I was cool with them when we were like in elementary and stuff. But I remember it was like I had just started high school and then I created a Facebook account. So I'm like I'm adding all the people that I grew up with and yeah, because it was like I had moved and so I was originally was going to school in West Seattle. I ended up moving to a completely different city, started going to school out there. And then as like I got older and then was like getting more involved like with the internet and social media and all that stuff. Yeah, I was like create a Facebook. Seeing it was like a bunch of friends of mine that I was cool with and stuff, and I was all like, oh yeah, let me like just add. But there was one girl in particular where I was all like, we had like the same mutual friends, and so I was like, I don't know, maybe we wasn't really cool like that. But it was weird because I was like, we hung out all the time, like we cracked jokes, laughed, all that other stuff. But anyways, I remember, you know, just like messaging them because everybody that I had messaged, there was like instant like reply. It was like, oh my God, Tyler, like, man, it's like it's been forever and stuff. But it was her, it was like, it was nothing. And so I'm like, did I say something? Did I do something? Like, what's going on here and stuff? And yeah, it was just no response. And I'm like, all right, well, but then no, I ended up unfriending her. I was like, okay, well, I'm like, maybe it's a doppelganger that just got the same exact name and stuff. But what was crazy though was that no, I remember that I was in Seattle, like, because this is when I was working in Seattle, and I seen somebody that looked just like her, and then it was like we kind of like had this moment where we kind of like we locked in and we made eye contact and stuff. I'm like, if that is her, I'm like, I ain't got nothing to say. I'm like, it's one of those things where I'm like, I don't know. With me, it's like I maybe when I was younger, I would say that it was a little bit harder for me to move on, but as I got older, I'm like, fam, if there ain't nothing there, then I'm like, I'm good, bro. I'm like, hey, you lived your life. Hopefully it's like at peace and things, but I'm gonna focus on myself. I feel like I'll get more done focusing on myself. And yeah, maybe, you know, and then that's and the crazy thing about it, it's like with the amount of friends that I have made over the years where it's like I feel more closer to them than her. Then it's like, yeah, bro, it's like trust me, it's like the grass is greener on the other side. So like that's why, but like I guess like with a situation like this where I'm like it was a relationship at these, I'm like, you gotta realize how messed up you were in that relationship and realize that person ain't gonna want to be bothered with you if you carrying on that way. So it's like there was another message too where he's all like, can we please communicate so I don't feel so isolated and hated by my own org? And it's like, okay, you did that to yourself. I ain't do nothing. Communicating with me or me communicating with your org, that ain't gonna change nothing. It's like they gonna hate you for their own personal reasons. So it's like you can't put me involved in your drama and stuff because like oh we were in a relationship, they got nothing to do with me. So yeah, that's I'm like nah fam, I'm like you yeah it's just weird. It's like, you know, carrying on like that and things. But yeah, it's like, dang, it's like it's going on. Whether it looked like the last, unless she plans on opening up more messages. It looked like last message was in May and stuff. But yeah, it's like it's just one of those things where I'm like, fam, she don't want to be bothered. She don't want to be bothered.
Loves or cares about you.
And more messages. Oh, is that it? Dang, it's like, oh, this is, oh, so it's like, I think this is like a different, okay. Yeah, it's stuff like this. It's like you do things like this when you like in high school. It's like as a grown adult, it's like, I mean, I guess you can, but at the same time, it's like, where is that gonna get you, bruh? He even posted a story about her. It's like you done sent all these messages. It's like you done sent all these messages and not one reply back. And it's like one going as far back as in August. It's like like literally or no, wait a minute, no, I think that was just the date. No, never mind. But no, well, I mean, yeah, it's like the messages were sent at that time. So yeah, it's like no, it's like even going all the way back to August and stuff. So it's like, yeah, bro, it's like it's you done been messaging her for like 8 months straight and no respawn. It's like, yeah, bro, she don't want to be bothered. So 14
And keep in
pages, bruh.
mind, this is only things that he sent to me. I can't document all the things that people told me that he was saying. And, it's just kind of a funny side note, I guess.
Yeah, it's like if I would have been in this circle, like being cool with Imaru and mizkif, if he had approached me about like, because she had told me about all this stuff, and then he approaches me all like, "Oh, have you heard? Or can you?" I'm like, "Nope, I ain't saying nothing to her. I'm not getting involved. I'm like, that's between y'all two. But if she don't want to be bothered with you, take the hint." I'm like, it's one of those things where I'm like, I probably would have woke up next morning and seen that he unfollowed me, and I'm like, oh well, gee, dang, oh no, what am I gonna do? Oh, look at that new pair of Jordans dropped. I'm like, I don't care. It's things like that where I'm all like, bro, I feel like he probably would have tried to do some stuff like that if I guess that they do come out and talk about it. I mean, this situation is kind of like fresh to the scenes and stuff. So if people do come out and talk about him and things, then yeah, I feel like that he probably did try to play some manipulative game, like, hey, if you don't talk to Imaru for me, you're gonna get kicked out of the org, and it's like, okay, I'm like, I'm doing good for myself, so I really don't need to be a part of this org. And I'm pretty sure that there's a bunch of different orgs out there that will take me and be like, oh yeah, it's like you was a part of this org. It's like, yeah, bro, it's like it's like come join with us and things. So it's like, fam, I'm not worried about you. You think you got like the leash on my career or something? It's like I will gladly cut that leash right off. Like you ain't got no control over me.
To highlight
So
this message, because doesn't really matter, but I ran it through the chat GPT checker.
Oh wow.
And all the highlights, like I said, doesn't really matter. I just thought it was interesting.
So he chat GPT. That's crazy. Like, nah, bruh. Growing up, it's like you had to write that stuff from the heart. Yeah, he don't care about her. He's all like he's just wanting life to get better, and I think he's realizing it. Like it's like, yeah, it ain't getting no better, but it's like you can't go on like this and things. More so like how he was carrying on, and then think like, oh, it's gonna get better and stuff. So yeah, that's crazy though. The chat GPT a message. I like, yeah, that's really just sad. I'm like, to be honest, but anyways.
But
Probably the only thing he did was probably post that story.
yeah. Like I said at first, the messages were just simple things, like him saying he was worried about things, or saying no one was talking to him, which I don't think was even true at the time. I think he was just saying that to try to guilt me into responding to him. I'm not sure about that, of course. This also extended to in-person interactions, because initially I made the mistake of thinking that I only had to cut him off through private communication, and we would be fine going to the same events and parties and such. I also had to start hold on, I'm still fucking sick. I made the mistake of thinking that I only had to cut him off through personal, private communication, but I also had to start avoiding going to the same parties or places I was worried he'd be in person, because this was after he came back from his first trip to Japan. There was a party that I attended several months after I first went into contact with him. I was aware that he would be there, and I thought it'd be fine. I thought it wouldn't be a big deal. I thought I'll just let him have his space, I'll have my space, it's not a big deal. We're adults, right? During this party, I felt like he was following me around and monitoring me, but I thought that I was just being paranoid. I was like, it's probably just in your head. I was hanging out with Nick and Catchy and a couple other friends. And at some point, Nick was like, it's too fucking loud down here. Let's go upstairs. No one's upstairs. Let's just go, chill in a room and like talk where it's not so loud. And I was like, okay. So they, as a group, went upstairs first without me, but it took me a bit longer to get up there because someone like stopped me and was talking to me. And I did feel like, he was like standing pretty close to that person. I felt like he was watching me, but again, I thought I was just being paranoid. But I went upstairs. I was hanging out with Nick and Catchy and, our other friends. And then about 30 minutes later, the room that we're in, the door opens. It's Miz.
That's crazy.
He opens the door, makes eye contact with me, goes, ooh, and then closes the door and leaves. And I was like, what the fuck? But again, I was still trying my best to, give the benefit of the doubt. Like, maybe it's just like an awkward situation or something. But a couple months later, the person that he was hanging out with that night reached out to me privately and was apologizing. And I was like, why? And they're like, I just felt like I had to apologize to you because I felt so bad and so embarrassed of what was going on. Like, yes, he wanted to see what you were doing. He was saying, like, I want to go see what's upstairs, and he was checking every room. And then after he opened the room that you were in with Nick, he closed the door and started laughing, and then he just wanted to talk about, how you guys broke up for the next, like, however many hours of the night.
That's I like, yeah. And the thing is this, like, people, I know there's been times like where people have came to me about stuff, and like they get the ranting and all that, and it'd be about some stuff where I'm all like, like I know it's gonna be rude and disrespectful if I say I don't care, but at the same time I do be trying to like give out the best possible advice on how they can figure out how to get out of that and stuff. But I can see myself, like, if I'm friends with mizkif and then he's like telling, like, going on hours about talking about her and stuff, I'm one of those people where I'm like, after a certain amount of minutes, I'm like, okay, this gotta stop. I'm like, you're putting too much of Imaru in my head, and I'm like, you gotta stop, because I feel like I'm breaking up with the girl now, or it's like we in a broken up status, and I'm like, fam, you gotta let this girl go, bruh. Like, I get it, you love and care about her and all that, but I'm like, the way that you're going about it, and it's like, oh, I gotta show up at these events, I gotta communicate with her, I gotta do this, I gotta do that. Like, nah, bro, you have to move on. That's the best possible thing for you and her. So, anyways,
so I was like, wow, okay, that's good to know, I guess. The next story that I want to tell involves what happened to me, Valkyrie, and Cinna earlier this year when we were attacked at the Santa Monica Pier.
Mm-hmm.
Because that was obviously... Hold on, let me close all these fucking texts. I don't want to look at them. They're still on my desktop. Where was I? Yeah, so, yeah, it happened March 3rd of this year. A lot of people were talking about it, talking about how me, Ray, and Cinna were attacked. Which was not an issue. Like, we had no issue with that. Like, obviously, it's big news. People are going to talk about it. It should be talked about. We had, like, no issues with anyone talking about it and covering it, and that included him. I was fine with that.
It's like, dang, you think about it, it's like, Imaru, she went through 3 things: that situation, then the TwitchCon, and now this. And it's like, man, like, she's somebody. I'm like, nah, I feel like there's definitely gonna be a lot of different, just overall, like, content creators, but then it's like, people too, where it's like they've been through similar situations, and then it's like they see, how strong she is, And yeah, that it's like they're gonna feel more comfortable about life, you know, and thinking that, oh, I had to keep this stuff bottled up and held in and all that. But it's like, nah, it's like, you know, if a content creator where it's like you have like a portion of the world watching you as you're talking about this stuff, and then you get managed to get through it, it's like anybody can get through anything. So that's why I'm like, whatever it is that you're going through, either handle it, talk about it, do what you got to do to make sure that your life is more better at the end of it and stuff. But and well, not like at the end of your life, but like at the end of the situation and stuff. Let me correct myself. But
Yeah, he
anyways,
joined in on that whole thing of people going live to talk about it. And again, I'd like to remind people at this point, we were already a couple months into me making no contact with him, making it clear I didn't want anything to do with him. And so during this stream, he was covering what happened to me, Ray, and Senna. He decided that he was going to tell more of my personal stalker stories that I've never personally talked about or shared publicly myself. And one of these stories was one that like no one knew at all, and like it just felt so shitty because at the time that those things happened, like, you know, all the people that lived in that area together, we all came together and we all kind of decided, and this was heavily pushed by him, we should never talk about this because, you know, people are going to be weird. It puts Emmy in more danger, and, you know, it gives people ideas, so we're never going to talk about it. But, you know, of course, as soon as there's some big drama.
And there's like the thing is this, because I know like there's been times like where friends they say like, hey, don't tell a soul this, keeping it to myself and things, you know. But if I feel like that, if like, let's say if it's on some stuff like this and you tell me a story where it's like, hey, don't like tell the soul like this or whatever and things, you know, if it's like a toss up, and that's the thing, like just hear me out before I get into what I'm getting ready to say and stuff. But if there's a toss up between like overall, like, you know, keeping your information safe or helping out people, it's like I'll tell the story, but I'm not gonna say no names. So if it's like a friend of mine's, it's like, hey, like there was a time where I got like stalked, and let's just say like, yeah, friend is John Doe or whatever. So it's like John Doe tells me that they were being stalked and they went through all this and that and blah blah blah. And then if there's like a similar story that's going on, then that's why I'm like, oh, I'm like, there's a friend of mine's that was telling me about the time where they got stopped. I ain't gonna say no names, but it's like if I feel like it can help people, then I'm like, yeah, then I will tell like I guess like a portion of it. But if it's but I don't know, like if it's on some stuff where it's like, you know, you can't talk about this, like anonymous, nothing, say nothing. I'm like, okay, I'm like, then yeah, I'm like mouth sealed. I ain't telling nobody. I'm most likely gonna forget about it after a week and stuff. So then like when I am like, you're gonna be like, hey, remember that time you told me that, or that I told you about that situation? I'm like, no. I honestly don't. There was like, fam, it was 2 weeks ago that I told you. I'm like, fam, I don't remember what I did yesterday. I'm like, you expected me to remember something? And it's like, okay, if you made it clear that I'm like, it was like a kind of like a Snapchat thing. Like it disappeared after a few seconds. So I'm like, I'm sorry. I'm like, I guess, but anyways.
That he's not involved in, and he finds a way to, you know, bring up, oh, I was there for something that happened to Emmy. He does it. He was on a stream talking about these personal stories of mine, and I caught wind of it. And by the way, it was also so frustrating not say anything at this time, because the way he told those stories, he kind of framed himself as like the hero. He was like, oh, I held the stalker at gunpoint. No. The only person who ever came into contact face to face with that stalker before the police came was Bonnie. Bonnie is the person who found that guy outside, went inside, told everyone, called the police. The police came. All Miz did was he stood far away from the front door behind glass and metal with a gun. Yeah, I mean, I understand. Still very scary, but why are you acting like if anyone deserves credit for that, it's Bonnie. Like, it's literally stolen valor. I'm so glad I finally get to say that, because she is the one who, like, kept everyone in those two houses safe, not him. Anyway, back to the original thing, the Ray and Senna stuff. Um, so, I was obviously panicking. Like, I just had this horrible thing happen to me the night before. It was like huge, like public, millions of people seeing it. And then my crazy ex-boyfriend is going live talking about more of my personal stuff. And I'm like crying, and Senna and Ray are like, what's wrong? And I tell them, and I'm like panicking. I'm like, I need to call so-and-so, I need to call so-and-so, I need to call so-and-so. Like these different people that I was like, they can contact him, because I did not want to contact him. So Ray, Senna, some of me and Miz's mutual business partners, and Asmongold were all messaging him to stop. And by the way, Asmongold told me that he tried to call Miz while he was talking, and it rang 3 times and then hung up, which means that he saw it, and he
That's crazy.
just wanted
And he knew what he was doing. It's like, yeah, the thing is this. He's like, oh, I'm just going to go and talk about this, and they can't say that this, like, oh, she doesn't want to talk with me. And I guarantee and I promise you, like, if she did, like, says that she got in contact with him and all this other crap, I guarantee and I promise you, he going to be all like, oh, well, you didn't want to talk with me, so how am I supposed to know? It's like, fam, I'm pretty sure she made it as clear as day. Do not tell nobody about this. It's like, I don't care what the situation is. Do not tell nobody about this and stuff. So, yeah, it's like just the mind games, you know, people will play on you. But anyways.
keep talking because, yeah, anyway, just a little note. I don't know exactly what, like, the other people said to him, but Ray and Senna told me that they were messaging him being like, bro, like, stop, what are you doing? Like, why are you doing this? And he was messaging them, who were also equally as traumatized as me, of course. They had gone through the same thing. Oh, what am I doing wrong? I'm letting people know what, you know, girls go through. Is that your job? Well, anyway, yeah,
and like I said, it's like he could have very well said like, oh, there's somebody that I know where they went through. But I guess like it's one of those things where it's just depending on the story. It's like if you know that people can be like, oh, I bet it was this, or I bet it was this person, or I bet it was that person. It's probably best not to tell the story. So
happened a couple of months into me being no contact with him. And yeah, he was arguing with Ray and Senna while they're trying to be like, bro, like, stop, like, you're making it worse. He finished talking about my stuff and then reacted to Senna and Ray's whole stream where they were crying, addressing their communities, made sure to react to that, and then immediately went offline. So yeah, that was a terrible weekend. I got threatened to be stabbed, and then the next day, my weird ex was going live trying to self-insert so that he could make sure to farm his own clips. After that incident, his attempts to talk to me only ramped up, which I showed those texts. We went back to Japan, and during that trip, he was texting, calling me, trying to call me quite a lot, begging me to take him back. And at the same time, I heard that he was reaching out to quite a few other streamers who know both of us. And he was crying to them about how he wanted to get back together and how he thought someday we would reconnect and eventually get married. I don't think he even meant that, but I hope not. But I assume he did that with the hope that they would relay the messages back to me since I wasn't talking to him. And, I mean, some of them did.
Yeah, because I think I did. I think it was from his stream where he talked on that, where he was like, they wrote down what they wanted from each other, and then she handed him a thing saying that she wanted to, within the next 5 years, be married with kids and stuff. And then I think there's like he handed her. I think he was like he handed her the note back and left, and then she was crying and was all like, "Oh, I love you" and all this other stuff. And I'm trying to piece it together. I'm like, what's wrong with that? I'm like, because the thing is this, the way that he's trying to involve his himself in his life, you would thought he wanted the same thing too. But yeah, I think that would have just been bad for them kids. So I'm like, it's probably good that none of that did happen, because I feel like, yeah, it would have put her in the situation, would have put them kids in the situation. And yeah, it's like, don't nobody deserve to go through no stuff like that. So it's like she did the right thing by what she's doing, and just, not getting in contact with them and stuff. But anyways.
Um, I also had a couple other streamers report to me that he would obsessively watch my stream, and not in a like, oh, I wonder what Emmy's doing right now way, or like having my stream open. Like, he would be obsessively and attentively hate watching my stream, like watching my stream and just saying horrible things almost every time that I've been live this year. And they tell me that he would want to discuss how he believed I still wanted him. Interesting, considering I never replied.
I know.
And he would ask other guys if they thought I had slept with anyone this year.
Wow.
They'd be like, I don't fucking know, man. And then they told me he would say stuff like, no, there's no way she's done that. She's not like that. And she's probably waiting for me. Just really fucking gross stuff like that. And a couple of streamers in LA also told me that he was telling people that me and him still talk all the time, but we simply weren't together anymore because I was too mature and I was not ready. I was
crazy.
too immature. But yeah, you can see from the messages I showed. I'm not sure if people can go back and read them. He was begging me to take him back for the majority of this year, which was 7 or 8 months total. And like I said, some of those messages were even, I believe, ChatGPT. Not that it really matters. It's just interesting, right?
But it's just still though. It's like that's just kind of. It's like you want to get back to. So it's like, what is like? Is that gonna be the whole relationship? I'm like, I ain't trying to be in no relationship like that. We talking via Chat GPT and stuff, where it's all like, oh, what could I say to this message? What could I say to that? What could I say? It's like, fam, if that stuff ain't coming from the heart, then it's like, then don't say nothing. I'm like, but yeah, it's like that stuff got to come from the heart and things, and it's. Yeah, I just think that's just sad. I'm like, it's people are just that out of touch with, just like them being a person, where it's like you gotta you all that, like you being a person is last, but it's like technology and AI and all this other stuff, it like, content creation, it all comes first. And it's like, fam, if you can't just be a genuine person, then it's like, yeah, bro, you need to it's one of those things you definitely need to take a break, or just overall quit, get more in tune with who you are, and then yeah, it's like you ain't got to worry about Chat GPT and all this other stuff. But yeah, I just think that and I don't even think he's I think he's like a year older than me. I think he was born in '95, and I'm like, fam, the thing is this. People want to have a conversation with me. I could carry a conversation. I could have a conversation with people, or it's like whether it's starting it up or, going based off of, I kind of look at it as like a game of chess where it's like we're just making a bunch of moves and stuff. But yeah, it's on some, but it's also, too, it's like with just the whole conversation thing where it's like if you don't know how to carry a conversation and talk with people and all that other stuff, then it's like, yeah, you probably do have like some line of communication issues and stuff. But it's like, okay, then either you need to read some books, watch some videos. It's like you put yourself involved in the internet, but you only want to do things that's going to entertain you. And then it's like, you just kind of like that monkey from Call of Duty where it's like, you clapping the cymbals and it's like you all happy and stuff. But it's like, fam, it's like actually get some form of education and things, don't be like some caveman where it's all like, oh, we're discovering fire, but instead of fire, it's like, oh, I'm discovering some stuff to say with Chat GPT and things. It's just sad. But anyways.
As of today, it's been about 2 months since he has attempted to contact me directly. I think because about 2 months ago is when he started kind of getting scared that I might have been like, telling people things, which again, I wasn't going out of my way to do it, but if anyone ever asked me, I wasn't going to lie to them. I mentioned this at the beginning before I started like fully telling the story. I heard from my friends, other streamers, and my employees that he had cooked up a plot that if I ever tried to talk about him, like about the abuse or anything else, he would try to go live and say that I killed my rabbits. And I was told that he approached several streamers who were around us a lot when we lived together and asked if they would basically back him up, and they refused. Obviously, they're not insane. And even something happened this weekend at TwitchCon. One of my employees told me he went up to them and he threatened them, saying, if Emmy ever tries to talk about me, I will destroy her. Whatever that means. And
Like people play that manipulative game, and it's like, okay, so do it. You know, it's like I think when people when it's like when you like they say some stuff like that to you, right? Like you guys have had some sort of conflict, and then you know you're not like talking about it and stuff. You know, you just kind of like it's kind of like you know like that quiet kid that knows how to fight. And then it's like you try to bully them into thinking like, oh, okay, I can say whatever and do whatever. It's gonna scare them, and then that's all they just got to hit you is with like just them two words. It's like, do it. You know, if you're gonna do something, then do it. And then it's like it kind of I feel like yeah, mizkif, he's the type of guy where it's all like, okay, well, maybe I might need to back off. And it's like, no. You said you was going to end my career and do this and do that. Then it's like, okay, then do it, bro. Like I want to see it. You know, so yeah, I just think that when they just got that mentality where it's like, you know, they don't care no more, you know. In modern day, it's like people call it a crash out. Back then, it's just yeah, it's like that I don't care personality and attitude and all that. And it's like, fam, the thing is this, you could try to end my career and all that stuff. I did what I needed to do. I entertained the crowd that I needed to entertain. At the end of the day, if you somehow, some way managed to end my career, at least I got to tell my side of the story. You know, so it's like if people believe you more than they believe me, then that's just on those people. But at least I got to tell my side of the story. There's people where I'm like, yeah, and it could be a situation where it's like nobody believes me, you know, and I'm like, and it's one of those things. I'm like, hey, if that's how y'all feel, that's how y'all feel. But I just know for a fact that there's going to be a point in time where it might not be with Imaru. It might not be with the next girl, might not be with the girl after that, but there is going to be a case where mizkif, this stuff is going to get talked about again, but it's going to be another person. They're going to be like, hey, remember when Imaru did that stream and she was talking about all that different stuff with mizkif? It ain't no different. So that's why it's like, yeah, bro, you know, it's one of those things where it's like, you know, you gotta just overall moral of the story, you gotta do right by people. But anyways,
within the same night, he also texted one of my best friends, and he would have known that I would have been with this girl. He texted her saying, hey, worried about her, hope she's okay. You know, right after he just said to my employee and other people that he was gonna try to destroy my life. Yeah, all in the same night. And, yeah, that was Saturday, so that pretty much leads us to today. I feel like it's clear I've spent the last year of my life cutting him off and building a new life with people that actually care about me and doing my best to move on peacefully without causing any drama. I did not want to do this. A lot of other creators actually told me that after his other allegations in 2022, if I wasn't the first person to stand up for him and start appearing on his channel again, they do not think that they would have gone back to helping him with his content. So I always tried to keep things private, always tried to make things better, had hope that things would get better, you know, tried to be supportive, and my thanks that I got for all of that was abuse and resentment. And for all of 2025, all of this year, harassment and hatred from him and his community, while he was the whole time secretly begging for me to take him back behind the scenes. I've taken a lot of steps already. As I said, it's a parent. I've taken a lot of steps to restructure my life and be a lot more careful about who I help and who I invest my time and my care into. And I'm doing a lot better now, but I felt like this was a necessary stream because, like I said at the very beginning, I have heard that he has done things to other people that aligned with some of my own experiences, so I felt like it would be wrong for me to keep holding on to all this information. I know I stayed for way too long, and I thought that I could help.
That's the
And
thing, though. It's like, if a person don't know, it's like you don't know. It's like I don't even blame her for the length of the relationship. It's like, how is a person supposed to know that somebody gonna go off on them and treat the relationship the way that they did? But person don't know. It's like I can't even hold that against you or whatever and stuff. It's like you didn't know. So that's one of those things where it's like if she's thinking along the lines like people are going to be judging her for the length of the relationship, and it's like don't nobody know, like when you get into a relationship with a person, you don't know whether that person is going to be like the best significant other that you could possibly have or the worst significant other that you could possibly have. A 50-50 chance, but it's like, and they'll play that game and it's all like, oh, I'm this, and I'm gonna be respectful and all that. Next thing you know, it's like, yeah, you out telling your story and stuff, and it's like, it shouldn't even be that. It should be like, you tell a story, you're telling a good, positive story, like, this is what a relationship needs to be, not, a bunch of just toxicness and, and then people being hurt and all that stuff. Like, nobody don't deserve to go through that,
I
so.
unfortunately learned that I couldn't, but I worked really hard to have the life that I have now with my friends, my family, my pets, and my community. And I'm so grateful for how things are now. It was very difficult, but I'm very proud of myself for making the choices that I did to end up where I am now. And yeah, that's my story of dealing with abuse, psychological and domestic abuse, sexual assault, and stalking, and being threatened on if I ever talked about it. And this whole time it's been kind of hidden in plain sight away from hundreds of thousands of people. And yeah, I know that me saying all of this probably isn't gonna make him or what's left of his community leave me alone, but sorry, voice crack. I know talking about this probably won't make him or sorry.
No, I'm like, no, that voice crack thing, they ain't no joke. I'm like, I used to deal with that back when I was in high school, and I'd be trying to do videos, and it's like, yeah, you hit that high note, and then it kind of like it just extends out. Then yeah, voice you get the crack it a little bit, and I'm like, nah, I've had my fair shares. I'm trying to think, I can't remember the last time my voice cracked. I feel like it wasn't too long ago. It was some years ago, and I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. I'm like, I don't know what that was all about, but we can't have that happen no more and stuff. But nah, but it's honestly though, I have to say, like, I'm more of an Emaru fan be like now than I was before, because I feel like, yeah, watching this, it's like, dang, it's like, she really, I mean, like, obviously ain't paved the way, but I feel like there's gonna probably be a lot of fans that watch this, fans of her that watch this, and they're gonna be like, if she could do it, then I can do it, so I have to say, like, that's one thing I am proud of her, of getting through this. But just overall, if she hasn't heard it enough, and I'm like, highly doubt she'll be watching this video and stuff, but it's like, no, that should feel like that's something that's like, you need to let her know that it's like, you've done something that a lot of people, like, throughout my 15 years of being a content creator, I've seen so many different content creators start their stuff up, and then at some point in time, they just disappear, quit, or they can't handle it, crash out, like they do something to get themselves canceled. And it's like, Imru is one person where I'm like, I haven't seen her get canceled for nothing. I haven't, heard nothing negative about her. Like, if there was a list of like content creators that I had to like start a organization or have like a group, whatever, collective, whatever you want to call it, and Emery was on that list, I'm like, yeah, I'm choosing her. She's somebody where it's like, yeah, you know that, like, good is going to come out of that. It'll be her, and it'll probably be, a few other people and things. But yeah, I'm like, nah, she's somebody where it's like, that's who you build a business with. That's like, and then like if we talking personal, yeah, it's like she's somebody you build a life with. It's like, okay, I know if the conversation of kids and all that stuff getting talked about, I know I have nothing to worry about, I guess, so much as her as a parent and things, because I know that it's going to be good and stuff. So that's why I'm like, yeah, but she's somebody where I'm like, I feel like she definitely needs to hear that a lot. That it's like, it's okay, you're okay. Like there's no such thing as you having to do your best or be best and all that. It's like, no, you're where you need to be and you're doing perfectly fine. So yeah, that's why I'm like, yeah, she's somebody I feel like needs to hear that a lot more than than what she already has. Because it's like, yeah, you watch this stream, and then it's like just hearing all the stuff that she had been through. I'm like, yeah, you definitely need to hear that a lot more. That it's like you're doing good, okay? It's like better than some, and so that's why I'm like, yeah, and it's okay. That's the thing, though. It's 100% fine. You don't have to limit yourself. You don't have to exceed beyond your expectations of who you want to be as a content creator. It's like you're doing perfectly fine. So, anyways,
Probably won't make him or what remains of his community leave me alone, but I'm at least glad that people will be aware of all of this now, and I won't have to feel like I'm hiding a terrible dark secret anymore. And it's all out there now. And I also want to make it clear that not everyone that I interact with or that I'm friends with knew the extent of the things that were happening. And a lot of streamers didn't really know anything at all. But I mean, like I said before, people aren't stupid. I think it's pretty clear that a lot of people knew that things were happening. And like I said, you have to remember, it's not just me. A lot of people have told me that they have their own, grievances with him. But for the people who did know about this, thank you for being there for me through all of this and supporting me and cheering me on. And there were a lot of people as well who, even though they didn't know anything, without asking any questions, they still were very kind and supportive, and I will always remember that for the rest of my life. I also want to say, just so people know, that I'm not just trying to put this out there and then, I am already in the process of filing a restraining order on him.
I was gonna say that early on in the video. I'm like, definitely do that. So I'm like, because I think, yeah, it's like he won't it's for like, obviously he won't be able to get into physical contact with you and stuff. But as far as texting, calling, and all that, I think they do have restraining orders for that too. So, but anyways,
in both Texas and California. And I also wanted to say that I would not be surprised if he tries to sue me for this stream that I did today and for coming out about him.
And if he does, then it's like you didn't learn nothing from this. It's like it's just people like that. It's like they want to win so much in life to where it's like you're willing to downplay trauma that you done gave somebody because you're just trying to have a victory underneath your belt. And it's like, yeah, bro, like I said, quit content creating. If he sues her, then it's like what he needs to do. If he sues her and then on top of that wins the lawsuit, no longer can show your face or be a content creator again. You have to quit at that point. So
not because he thinks that he would win, but for PR reasons, like a slap lawsuit. It'd be interesting if that happened, and I wouldn't be opposed to people finding out more of the truth and things that I didn't even talk about today and what else he's been lying about. And I'm sure there's also plenty of things that even I don't know about. And yeah, there's more things that I didn't even talk about today, but I'm hoping that now that I have this out, this is the last time I ever have to talk about it. And I can be like, okay, I got it out there. I'm not withholding this anymore. It's out there. And yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. Definitely not how I would have liked to spend my Saturday. I would have loved to go to karaoke with my friends or something like that instead.
I'm like, that's the best thing that you can do. Just, take your mind off of things, do whatever it is that you got to do. Whether it's hanging out with friends, just having some me time, take a solo trip, do what you got to do to put yourself in a much more better, mental state. Because I imagine that a lot of this, like mentally, it is like it's tolling. Like it's gonna take a lot out of you and stuff. So yeah, it's like do what you got to do to just put yourself in a much more better mood. But anyways,
A lot of people like karaoke. Right, guys? Yeah, I think that's it. I'm probably gonna take some time off. I'm not sure. Like, I genuinely have no idea what the response to this all is gonna be like. I really just wanna, like I said, do my best to move on from this, because I've already been doing that for a year. Like I said, I feel like that's pretty clear. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you guys for today. I asked my editor if he would put this on YouTube for if you guys want to look at, any of the things that I shared today. But like I said, all of the streams that I referred to today are public. You can easily find them. And all the people that I mentioned today gave me permission to mention them. Except I think I mentioned Mr. Beast, oops, but I mean, he's not involved. Yeah.
I feel like though, like if Mr. Beast, because he most likely is paying attention to this too, and he probably sat down, watched this stream where somebody in his circle told him like, "Hey, yeah, you were mentioned in Imaru's video and stuff." He ain't gonna never want to work with mizkif. I'll tell you that right now. It's like you'll see me in a Mr. Beast video before you see mizkif in a Mr. Beast video and stuff. And that's like, fam, it's one of those things where it's like he's doing all these different things to Imaru, not realizing that it's like on top of giving this woman trauma, it's like you're also ruining your career and your life and everything that you got going for yourself because you're trying to have dominance and all these other things over her. And it's like, fam, you have that over yourself, not over people. But
yeah, I don't know. I never thought that I would be doing this stream, so it feels really weird to have done it, and it's over now. Yeah, well, now you guys know everything, and all the things I've been holding in for the past couple years. So yeah, thank you guys for listening. Hopefully I'll be able to keep giving updates on the TwitchCon stuff, but I'm hoping to put this other chapter behind me. And like I said, I don't know what's gonna happen, but I feel very confident that this was the right thing to do, and I don't regret any of it. Thank you guys. I'm gonna go spend time with my friends, and
shouldn't have to regret any of it.
See you guys all very soon. Thank you for everything.
It's like,
I guess that's it.
I'll wait until the video ends, but it's like one of those.
When I see you.
It's like one of those things though, where it's like she shouldn't have to feel the way that she's feeling because and I just think that yeah, it's like she's feeling like he's going to do something, he's gonna try to get even and all this other stuff, and it's like, fam, I just, if he does, it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, bro, you already ain't gonna have a successful career even after this stream. But if he is gonna try to get even, do all these other different things, kiss your career goodbye, bro, because it's like that you ain't gonna come back after that. So, but yeah, guys, show Imaru the most amount of love and support. After all the stuff that she done been through, she definitely deserves it. So, but yeah, I'll talk to y'all later. Thank you guys. Stay tuned for the next video, and peace.